Save 60% on furniture and mattresses, plus take an extra 10% off. That's 60 off plus 10 off on sofas, sectionals, dining sets, outdoor furniture, mattresses, and more. Don't forget about appliances. Save an extra 5% on appliances. Kohlers guarantees the best price in kitchen and laundry appliances from all your favorite brands like KitchenAid, Samsung, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, and more. I know I've shopped at Kohlers just recently. Don't miss out on Kohlers' 3-day flash sale, only from June 17th through the 19th. Stop by one of their showrooms in West Dallas, Oak Creek, Delafield, or Grafton. They've got the best showrooms and the best sales staff. Or shop online at Kohlers.com.
Step up to quality furniture. Get more for your money at Kohlers.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAND25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAND25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SAND25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I've been playing sports all my life. Little football, basketball, pickleball, cross training, mud events, Spartan races and things like that.
For Dr. Erik Williams, a successful chiropractor, staying active means everything. So when nagging knee pain slowed him down, he didn't want drugs or invasive surgery. He found a natural way to get lasting relief. QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies.
We're using my body's natural abilities to get better. And that's huge. In time, that's going to be the way of the future. Using your own body's ability to heal. Now I can play day to day and not have that severe pain.
Now he's back out there doing what he loves, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Life is good. You're not going to slow me down.
Leave the pain behind and get moving. Book your free consultation today with QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
This isn't just a rivalry. It's Brewers Cubs. And it's going down tonight in Chicago.
Curveball struck him out swinging.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30.
And Trevor McGill strikes out 3 to secure the series win.
We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
6 o'clock, I'm Erik Bilstad. This is Wisconsin's Morning News for Tuesday, June 17th. Our top story, a quick end to the G7 for President Trump.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Vince Vitrano. A deadly shooting caught on video in downtown Milwaukee.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Everything's looking good out on the roads right now. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes north of Mayfair Road on 41 northbound. But other than that, everything's looking good. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy, warm, humid today. Could see some storms this evening, a high of 87. Tonight, some scattered storms early on. Humid still, a low of 65. Right now, it's 68 at 6:01. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, President Trump rushing back to the White House overnight. He's back home this morning. This from the G7 summit in Canada. When asked while speaking to reporters on Air Force One if he was expecting a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, the president says he's looking for something better than a ceasefire.
And then a real end, not a ceasefire. And then so something that will be permanent. Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
G7 leaders are hoping to contain the Israel-Iran conflict at the summit in Canada. Chair of faculty at Concordia University, Van Mobley, was there on Monday. He tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News what he heard from President Trump.
You have to put the Middle Eastern conflict in context. The Middle East has been a volatile region for a while. Trump is interested, I think, in all areas, just like as in Ukraine, getting people to the table so that he thinks he's got a better chance, and I think he's right, of having a better outcome if we can get them at the table talking together.
Mobley noted talks between the president and other members of the summit appeared to be cordial before his sudden departure.
As a timeline emerges in Saturday's armed assault on two Minnesota state lawmakers, investigators believe that murder suspect Vance Bolter had compiled an enemies list of dozens of people and was intent on killing everyone on it.
This is Jim Ryan. Beyond Vance Bolter's alleged hit list of 45 targets, investigators have found notebooks naming politicians from Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, even Texas. Back in Minnesota, State Representative Samantha Vang says,
I definitely feel very vulnerable, especially knowing that my name was part of that list.
Bolter faces state and federal charges related to the murders of State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband and the wounding of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
We're learning more about another Wisconsin connection from the Minnesota lawmaker shooting suspect.
Property records show Vance Belter owned a building in Brillion for 4 years. According to our news partners at NBC 26, he purchased a building on Water Street under the name of his business Revo Formation Ministries, Inc. in November 2007. He bought it from Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church, which had previously operated its school there. Church officials say he didn't appear to do much at the building, only clean it out a bit before selling it to High Tech Electrical Services, Inc. in 2012. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
A woman is dead after a shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee, and the incident was caught on video.
The 29-year-old was shot near Vliet and King just before midnight.
Oh my God, y'all. It was a girl.
Video by a neighbor captured the shooting, which appeared to be the result of an argument between multiple people in the street.
They really just shot her. And they put the bag over her, so she died.
No one is in custody, but police are seeking a known suspect. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A deadly crash between a car and a horse-drawn carriage in Manitowoc County. Both were traveling eastbound on USH 10 in the township of Cato when the car rear-ended the carriage just before 9 o'clock Sunday morning. The 27-year-old operator of the carriage and his 13-year-old passenger were ejected. The man died at the scene, and the extent of the teenager's injuries is unknown. The driver of the car, a 42-year-old woman from Brillion, was not injured. Wisconsin State Patrol still investigating that crash.
A dairy farmer from northeast Wisconsin is suing the Trump administration for discrimination.
The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty is representing Adam Faust, a white dairy farmer suing the USDA. Faust is claiming certain loan programs unfairly prioritize sex and race, saying that he's charged a $100 fee that minority and female farmers don't have to pay. Now, 6 Republicans are urging the USDA to end what they call discriminatory practices. Faust was among several farmers who successfully sued the Biden administration in 2021 for race discrimination in the USDA's Farmer Loan Forgiveness Plan. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Coming up, counting down to the big gig.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 6:05.
Your basement. Ooh, wall cracks. Oh no, seepage. And stains on the bottom of those walls. Terrifying. The only thing scarier than basement issues are businesses that prey on your fear over those terrifying foundational cracks. The team at Gatish Foundation never uses high-pressure sales tactics. Over 90% of Gatish Foundation's jobs are through referrals. So, for an honest opinion on the condition of your basement, call Gatish Foundation today. Spelled G-A-I-Dish. Gatish.com.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
At Big Fish Contracting, we want every home project to be a good story worth sharing. That's why we as a team aim to exceed your expectations. We can improve any aspect of your home. Everything from a complex remodel to the essential roof, gutters, siding, and windows. Integrity, humility, and kindness are why we've grown in southeastern Wisconsin for the last 2 decades. Visit bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Get your aches and pains under control. But not only that, regular care with Connect Chiro can bring back your energy. A lot of folks start with headaches, back pain, and shoulder pain. How quickly you see results varies from person to person, but time and repetition are the key to staying on track. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. Connect Chiro docs use a special tool for all your adjustments, targeted results, and a gentler experience. Check out the new location in Oak Creek or get started at GoConnectChiro.com.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 6:07.
This hasn't happened at the College World Series in 65 years. That story at 6:15.
Polish Fest out, Summerfest in. The big gig begins Thursday, and event crews are working tirelessly to ready the grounds.
We're hanging video, we're hanging lights. Very, very quickly, you'll hear the stages start to come alive. So we couldn't be more excited.
Sarah Pancari is the president and CEO of Milwaukee World Festival. New this year, the Lasso Lounge, a nod to a Nashville-inspired country bar.
We've got line dancing, we've got live music, we've got DJs, we've got, of course, a mechanical bull.
And collectively, over 600 stage acts, including Def Leppard on night one. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Viewed as the Oscars of the culinary industry, the James Beard Awards recognized a bar in downtown Milwaukee.
Agency, a hybrid cocktail lounge located in the Double Dutch Hotel, was a finalist in the Best New Bar category. A bar in Puerto Rico took home the top prize as the winners were announced Monday in Chicago. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports Agency was the only local name to advance in the finalist round of this year's competition. Other Milwaukee area businesses received semifinalist nods, including 6 Milwaukee chefs and Bryant's Cocktail Lounge, which was up for the National Outstanding Bar Award. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Last fall, WTMJ listeners donated more than $80,000 to repair Bayview Medal of Honor recipient Lance Seijon's plane at the Milwaukee airport. The work is now underway.
The husband-wife team of Andy and Luli Bishop have arrived from Florida and are sanding and painting Lance Seijon's plane.
This is first class, very nicely done, and really happy to be a part of getting it looking good again.
As they work in the elements, they think about Seijon struggling in the Vietnamese jungle.
This should be pristine, considering Lance Seijon's story.
It tugs at our heart. It's a soft spot for us.
Just happy to be a part of it.
It just makes you feel good.
It's about restoring the legacy of a hero. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
The complete renovation of the Seijon plane should be done in less than 3 weeks.
The president says Tehran should evacuate. What happens next in Iran? That story in 2 minutes.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on Saturday, June 21st for National Smoothie Day. Tropic Rewards members get a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Terms and conditions apply.
6:11. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning. Things still looking really good out on the roads right now. Not seeing too many delays or incidents for that matter. Everything is rolling along really well. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Very warm and muggy start to the day on this Tuesday. High temperatures climb into the upper 80s this afternoon. Look for the chance for evening storms. Scattered storms will continue into tonight, mainly early low temperatures falling into the 60s. Wednesday will look for mostly cloudy skies. Showers and storms are likely, heavy at times in the afternoon with high temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy and lower rain chances on Thursday with a high temperature near 80. Still a small chance for a shower or storm on Friday with temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. Then quickly warming our temperatures up for the weekend. Highs on Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. With high humidity, heat index values will be near 95. I'm meteorologist Tyler Moore, the Storm Team forecast on WTMJ.
Right now at 6:12, it's 69 degrees.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, this is Wisconsin's Morning News. Here's your host, Erik Bilstad.
And a good Tuesday morning to you, Erik, along with Amy Taylor. Hi, Amy.
We were just chatting in the break.
Yes.
Good morning, by the way.
It's great to see you.
Yeah, and it's great to see you too. But I was asking about your kids and getting caught up, which is always fun.
All graduated now. And
yeah, it's getting crazy.
Orientation for him is today at Whitewater, so here we go.
I know, that's really exciting. Congratulations to you guys.
Yeah,
I know that's
different.
such a big event to have your kids go off
It
to
is,
college.
yeah. It's a little different. I'm not sure how to feel about it.
It's a little costly as well.
Yes, yeah, both of those things. You're right.
You should try having 3 go all at once.
Oh my God! I always think about you and your 3 doing all of the work, all of the college, all at the same time.
It's a heavy lift.
Yeah, okay, good. Looks good on you, though.
Thanks so much.
6:13. Hey, there is a big story that we're following this morning. Actually, there are several, but one of the ones taking place right now is overseas in the Middle East. We have Israel and Iran trading strikes again now. This is the 5th day. We've had at least 200 people killed in these swap attacks, if you will, and it's now prompted the president to head home early from the G7 summit in Canada. So that started on Monday. President's already back home.
I mean, that's it's disturbing, quite honestly, if you see the leaders sitting in a circle ready to talk about the fate of the world, basically.
Right.
And then the president of the United States, arguably the most important and powerful country in the world, says, I got to go.
Right.
And he's not saying much about why.
Yeah, it's not clear what he's hoping for, but he did say he's not necessarily calling for a ceasefire.
An end. A real end, not a ceasefire. An end. So something that will be permanent. Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay, too.
Yeah, so that's the president of Air Force One about an hour ago before landing back in Washington. Earlier, he had said it was time for Tehran, the Iranian capital, to clear out.
Monday, the president warned that everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, without explaining why. U.S. officials tell CBS News that American forces are not joining Israel's offensive, though the Pentagon has deployed more assets to the region, including another carrier strike group.
That's CBS correspondent Naomi Rockham there.
So this talk about Fordo, which is where Iran has its nuclear weapons stockpiled, is very deep in the ground. And apparently the U.S., surprise, surprise, is the only country in the world that has a bomb, a bunker buster that is powerful enough that could handle it. And we have the only plane that's capable of delivering it. So that's a question about whether we'll get involved with our forces or not.
And there's some conflicting reports as to whether or not Israel says, hey, they were really close or are really close to a nuke. The president has said, yeah, we can't have Iran have a nuke. But the U.S. has also said they didn't think they were that close.
I just saw that headline on CNN, too, saying that Iran could be several years away from a nuclear weapon. And the president tweeting that, are you Xing? That, Iran may not have a nuclear weapon at all.
So we'll see where this goes. But when the commander-in-chief of the U.S. says that a city should evacuate, people heed that call. And we've seen that as well. So obviously a story we're following as tension continues to mount in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. It is 6:16. We got sports in 1 minute.
Dan, what are you doing?
Taking a closet for a test drive.
A test drive?
Here at Inspired Closets, we have our own cutting-edge immersive design experience.
That's right. Envisioned by Inspired Closets uses AR technology that's sort of like test driving a car.
Virtually walk into your custom closet at scale before anything is even built.
You can even make changes in real time, so your environment will adapt to any design revisions you make in that moment.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets, a wife and husband team.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Time for an update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk.
A big series starts tonight for your Milwaukee Brewers. It's on the north side. Brewers and Cubs. The Cubs are in first place. And we will see the Miz pitch again, that rookie phenom pitcher.
He'll go on Wednesday. Chad Patrick goes Tuesday. Freddie will go the finale on Thursday.
That's Dom Catronio there, Brewers 360, running down the pitchers for us. So, yeah, Chad Patrick on the hill today for the Crew. So the Brewers, Amy, are 4.5 games
Yes,
behind
you do
the
need
Cubs.
to get me a little caught up on
Yeah.
all this. I admit, and I appreciate how you treat me.
I'm just telling you that they're 4.5 games
It seemed very
back.
specific. Just so you know, Abe.
So, but that's okay, though. There's still time. The Journal Sentinel actually cites Baseball Reference, which sees the Brewers' odds of making the postseason at just 42%.
That doesn't sound overwhelmingly positive.
Fangraphs has them winning the division at 11%.
It's right about at the president's popularity, the 42.
Wow. Shots.
See, I got that one.
So that's interesting. I mean, you win 2 or 3, who knows? That probably changes everything. But big series. It's a series you want to win. It starts tonight right here on WDTMJ Radio. Our coverage starts at 6. First pitch is just after 7 on WDTMJ Radio. Shohei Ohtani is back on the mound. The Babe Ruth wannabe hasn't pitched in a game in 22 months. He's back on the mound pitching 1 inning. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run as the Dodgers beat the Padres. Speaking through an interpreter afterwards.
I'm not quite happy with the results, but there were a lot that I was able to take away from today's outing and today's game.
He did hit 100 miles per hour, so 1 inning he's already thrown 3 digits.
So frustrating.
That he's that good?
That he hasn't pitched in 20, how many months?
Almost 2 years. He also went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, so he's still pretty good.
Yeah.
How about this for dealing? The College World Series, kid named Gage Wood threw a no-hitter. His name is Gage Wood, which is my favorite part. He pitches for Arkansas.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss! Greatness from Gage! A no-hitter!
That's how it sounded on ESPN. He had 19 strikeouts, so it's got to be one of the best pitching performances of all time in a College World Series.
That's how I like to roll in my baseball games.
Hasn't been done a no-hitter in the College World Series since 1960, so not bad. Pretty good. And in Oklahoma City, the Thunder beat the Pacers 120-109 in Game 5. Game 6 is back in Indy on Thursday night. It is 6:19. Get you an update on what happened in Minnesota. We'll do it next.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, WTMJ's Erik Bilstad here, reminding you to subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News Podcast. We update it every day with every interview, every segment, every bit we do on the show.
Wait, we don't do bits on the show.
You are the cream to fill my cream box.
I hope they like each other.
Boat race.
The sun and the moon and the earth have become one, and so have we.
All right, maybe we do some bits.
Be sure you subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News Podcast, presented by Tri-County Contracting. Hey, Debbie, have you ever heard of a micro wedding?
No.
They're in.
Okay.
So we'll do it here in about 20 minutes. Micro weddings, they're hot right now.
I'm thinking, do you? Yeah, you're married. Go party.
Well, pretty close.
Okay.
We'll get to it. How are the roads?
Looking pretty good right now. Volume's starting to pick up a little bit southbound 41 from about Appleton Avenue down towards Hampton. Other than that, everything else is rolling along really well. We've got light volume around the rest of the area. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Weather, partly cloudy. You'll notice it's humid when you step out. My hair did. Evening storms, a high of 87. Tonight, scattered storms early, then humid again, low of 65. Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Afternoon, heavy rain and storms, a high of 73. Thursday, partly cloudy. That continued warm trend. Slight chance of storms, a high of 80. Friday, partly cloudy. A slight chance of storms, a high of 79 by the lake, 83 inland. And Saturday, partly cloudy, hot and humid. On Saturday, a high of 89 with a heat index of 95.
Forecast sponsored by Big Fish Contracting. Visit bigfishcontracting.com to see how they're renovating homes and redeeming an industry. As the days go on, we'll learn more and more about this guy from Minnesota who once lived in Sheboygan, has Wisconsin ties, attended Cardinal Church. Talking about Vance Bolter. This is the 57-year-old guy accused of murdering and stalking Minnesota state lawmakers and their spouses. 2 people are dead, and it triggered the largest manhunt in state history in Minnesota.
Bolter facing a judge Monday afternoon where prosecutors revealed chilling new details of a, quote, targeted political assassination designed to inflict fear, injure, and kill members of the Minnesota legislature and their families. Bolter accused of killing Democratic Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, and critically injuring Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in back-to-back shootings. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
This guy had a plan. I mean, they found multiple weapons in his vehicle. They found this manifesto. His plan was to take out these lawmakers. We're now learning that he visited 4 lawmakers. The homes of 4 lawmakers instead of the 2 that we had originally heard. Some people just weren't home when you knocked on their door.
What a stroke of good luck
right?
for them.
Isn't that amazing?
And how terrifying that this man is harboring this much rage, but sort of masquerading.
Right.
And no pun intended, because he did have that, or pun intended, I should say, with that mask on that was so creepy. But he was masquerading as a normal individual. I think that has people really freaked out, that he's an educated man with a doctorate degree.
Mm-hmm. Very strange the way he set this all up.
Police say Bolter escaped on foot. Authorities sharing what they found inside that car. Assault-style rifles, several rounds of ammunition, and a medical kit suggesting Bolter may have planned to be on the run for a while.
So we talked to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Dan Bice on Monday about this, and he was reporting that there were 11 names on the manifesto that were people from Wisconsin. We do know of a few of those already. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, along with Milwaukee Congresswoman Gwen Moore and Madison Congressman Mark Pocan, were on that list. Those 3 we know for sure.
Do we have any more specific information from the manifesto that says what policies he was objecting to?
Sounds like pro-choice, didn't like the abortion angle, talked about that quite a bit. That seemed to be part of it.
And he did attend Cardinal Stritch.
Mm-hmm. So where do you go from here? And whether or not, every case is different. Every lone wolf is different. But what at some point, I mean, we've had attempted assassinations of the president when he was running for office. We've
Twice.
had other, twice. We've had other issues as well. At what point do we finally tamp things down?
Well, you're hearing a lot of lawmakers calling for lowering the temperature, reducing the rhetoric. I think it's a very frightening time, and just even in conversations with friends and neighbors, people are saying that that something needs to change in the way we talk to each other.
Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell from Michigan agrees with you.
All of us, every single one of us, has to help dial down the level of rhetoric. We are normalizing violence, and that's not okay.
Call me a cynic, and I hate to be called a cynic because it's not an attractive quality, but I'm just not buying it.
That it's going to happen?
A week from now, it'll be back to the way it always.
It's not going to happen.
It was like that almost immediately after the shootings.
Yeah.
I don't think these lawmakers can do it.
I don't think they can do it either.
The
and
pundits can't do it.
Yeah.
They have to be seen. They have to be heard.
Our leadership can do it, though.
Well,
I mean,
that's
we
true.
really need people to stand up for what's right and for decency and goodness. I think people are hungry for it.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, no, it's not that I don't. I agree with you that I think the general consensus of the public is they don't necessarily like this. But there's a reason why the strategy is always to veer back into that lane. And whether it's just to be noticed and to get fundraising or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a populist time in our political history.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's always been like that, right? There's always been.
Well, not with this fervency. I mean, I think since our president, the Trumpism has changed the dialogue and the way of getting attention, and the way he takes people on, the way he takes everyone on with absolute ruthlessness and fearlessness.
News about you. Yeah, I totally get it. What I'll say, and I'm not defending any one person, but there's other people that do it too. It's not just him.
I mean, it's a disease we have right now.
Ooh, good line.
Yeah, there you go.
News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Checking your numbers for today. Let's see here. The futures, 2 hours from the bell. Everything is in the red. Of course, we are a couple hours away from things opening up, but starting the day in the red, at least with the futures. AnnexWealthManagement.com. Financial planning at every level. AnnexWealth.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
Well,
I'm asking for a friend.
The best way to remove urine from a mattress is to trade in that old mattress for a new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hasselus Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. And that's on top of our everyday low prices.
Come on, everybody says lowest prices.
Others sell a Sealy Posturepedic Queen Emeryville A mattress for $12.68. Hasselus sells it for $10.34. But through Monday, it's just $7.86. And check out the low prices on Beautyrest and more. Plus, free next day delivery.
What does my friend do with his old soaked mattress?
We haul it away for pee.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Guthrie & Fry. I love Guthrie & Fry. I've got their water softener, the salt delivered right to the basement. Their RO system, which filters the water in our house. What we drink, what we cook with is crisp, clean, clear. It's Guthrie & Fry Water Conditioning's the best in the business. They also provide well pump system service, routine service, and emergency service. For when you need it, they've been doing that since 1974. At Guthrie & Fry, they know that better water makes a big difference. The teams I trust are at Guthrie & Fry Water Conditioning.
All right, here comes the humidity. It's going to be warm today with storms later on tonight. Keep an eye on those storms. A high of 87 today. It's 69 right now.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. President Trump is back in Washington, having left the G7 summit in Canada early due to the Israel-Iran fighting. Aboard Air Force One, the president said he wasn't aiming for a ceasefire, but for a permanent end, or for Iran giving up. He urged people to evacuate Tehran. Also on the plane, Mr. Trump was asked if he plans to call Minnesota Governor Tim Walz about the deadly shootings of state lawmakers.
I'm not calling. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
One of the worst Russian air attacks in Ukraine's capital of the war happened overnight. Drones and missiles killing at least 14, say Ukrainian officials. One of the two doctors accused in the overdose death of Friends TV star Matthew Perry is expected to plead guilty with a maximum sentence of 40 years in prison. This is ABC News.
Well, looks like things slowing down on southbound 41 now from Appleton Avenue all the way down to Hampton. Northbound's got a couple of pockets right around the North Avenue curve and then up past Hampton Avenue up to Silver Spring. The rest of the system looking pretty good, nice and quiet. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy and humid today. A storm is possible this evening. A high of 87, a low of 65 through the overnight. Right now, 69 degrees at 6:32. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, news about your money. Oil prices are higher as the conflict between Israel and Iran ramps up. NX Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano on WTMJ's Point Taken.
The Straits of Hormuz is really, that's the choke point where about 20 to 25% of the world's oil supply goes through the Straits of Hormuz. And if that is disrupted, that could have systemic supply shock issues.
You may notice it at the gas pump as well. According to GasBuddy.com, those prices could drift higher over the next few weeks, increasing by about 10 to 25 cents per gallon.
A woman is dead after a shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee. The 29-year-old was shot near Valete and King just before midnight. No one is in custody.
Streetcar service remains delayed in Milwaukee after a hop crash. An SUV hit the streetcar and another vehicle near Milwaukee and Wells. At least 6 passengers on board the streetcar at the time. No serious injuries were reported.
A dairy farmer from northeast Wisconsin sues the Trump administration for discrimination. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed the suit on behalf of Adam Faust of Chilton. The allegation that the federal government is illegally denying financial assistance to white farmers in favor of continuing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. 6 Wisconsin Republicans are calling on the USDA to investigate ending the policies.
Milwaukee leaders want buildings built before 1974 retrofit with sprinklers. This following a deadly apartment fire on Mother's Day. The city's Judiciary and Legislation Committee passed a resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Malele Coggs.
Authorizes our lobbyists and changes our package to include them to be authorized to lobby both at the state and at the federal level for some kind of grant program to be developed to help owners to retrofit their sprinkler systems to bring them up to modern day code.
State law prevents the city from mandating building requirements that are stricter than those at the state level.
A mining company is about to drill for gold and copper in Wisconsin.
Greenlight Metals is the group behind the project. The targeted land is an area near Medford in north central Wisconsin. Steve Donahue is on the board of directors.
We've got a team of geologists who have been looking at this historic drilling that was done from the 60s up through the mid-1990s, and we've targeted a number of assets.
Crews moved the equipment into place on Monday. Drilling starts this week.
The primary focus is these critical metals and potentially rare earth elements such as tellurium. And you might ask, well, what is tellurium used for? Can't manufacture a solar panel without tellurium.
Jessica Ty, WTMJ News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 6:34.
Traffic sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield makes vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
Coming up, sunblock.
What's wrong, Ben?
Nicole can read my mind, Arvid.
What?
We were talking about the optionizable Ashton recliner at Penny Mustard.
I said I'd like it in leather, and she said...
Done.
I suggested a different leg color, and she said...
Done.
Spooky.
Look, I don't think Nicole can really read your mind.
Well, not anymore. That's why I'm wearing this tinfoil hat.
It smells fishy.
I wrap my lunch in it.
The Ashton recliner, starting at $28.70 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards. They're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel. It's a glow-up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Oh, you want a time check? Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 6:37.
The Brewers still have a shot at this Central Division. We explain at 6:45. All right, so you're not a sunscreen person, or are you?
I am a religious sunscreen person.
Okay.
Any sun damage you see is really upsetting to me.
Okay.
On myself.
Well, Consumer Reports, after asking a lab to test dozens of sunscreens, or sunblock. Is it sunblock or sunscreen?
Well, see, that's the thing you asked me about sunblock versus sunscreen. Isn't it all the same? Why wouldn't someone say sunscreen?
Okay.
Is there like a political leaning to this now?
No.
Can we depoliticize sunscreen, please?
Sunscreen
would imply that someone's getting through, and block says it's not.
Right. Block is keeping. Well, anyway, which is the best one to use? Christopher Cruz explains.
The magazine's deputy editor, Brian Vines, on CBS Mornings.
The number one was one that was made for kids. It's marketed as a kid's sunscreen.
That would be Coppertone Water Babies Lotion SPF 50, which costs less than $9. He says Consumer Reports doesn't test sunscreens below SPF 30.
If you burn in 10 minutes in the sun, that level of SPF protection will extend it by the number of the SPF.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Okay, so your ears perked up when you heard Coppertone Water Babies Lotion SPF 50.
It's in a pink bottle or can.
Okay.
And my kids grew up with it because it does have zinc in it. So it does get it will leave that white residue, but it is excellent and it doesn't burn or sting.
It's $9.
I mean, bonus.
All right. So,
you think that's expensive? It is expensive.
Well, but I mean, it's going to do the job, though.
But it's going to do the job. Yeah.
All right. I got to remember that. Coppertone Water Babies.
It's a good one.
All right. And it's pink. Got it. 6:39.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Here at
at Rich Lawns, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center, and well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee makes it easy to refresh your home. Book a free consultation today. Get high-quality blinds with professional guidance and stress-free installation. Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee.
641. All right, Debbie. Traffic is brought to you by Bumblebee Blinds. Visit them at bumblebeeblinds.com.
Okay, southbound on 41, still heavy from Appleton Avenue all the way down towards Capitol Drive. Northbound's getting heavier right around the North Avenue curve. Then you're back on the brakes from just south of Capitol Drive all the way up to Hampton. Everything else seems to be rolling along pretty well. I'm not really seeing anything else slowing you down. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Very warm and muggy start to the day on this Tuesday. High temperatures climb into the upper 80s this afternoon. Look for the chance for evening storms. Scattered storms will continue into tonight, mainly early low temperatures falling into the 60s. Wednesday will look for mostly cloudy skies. Showers and storms are likely, heavy at times in the afternoon with high temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy and lower rain chances on Thursday with a high temperature near 80. Still a small chance for a shower or storm on Friday with temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. Then quickly warming our temperatures up for the weekend. Highs on Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. With high humidity, heat index values will be near 95. I'm meteorologist Tyler Moore. The Storm Team forecast on WTMJ.
69 degrees. Ballrooms are out, Amy.
Who knew?
Amy Taylor in for Vince today. Ballrooms are out. Micro weddings are in.
I mean, I can't believe these are two words that are going together.
Micro and ballrooms?
Yeah, I had a acquaintance that had 340 people at their wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we had 200 plus, and that was plenty.
Isn't that crazy?
Way more than
that is
and I haven't
huge.
seen some of those people since, and that was
Right.
20 years
Isn't
ago.
that crazy? It's like, who was that?
Axios has this story. Some couples are skipping the big weddings to save money and throwing a more intimate gathering. So parties in cozy restaurants or backyards are letting couples spend more time with loved ones, and guest lists are going down. The average guest count nationwide was 131 last year. That's down from like 185 15 years ago.
131?
Yeah, it is a guest count, yeah.
Yeah, mine was like 115 or something like that.
Well, certain people just like low-key events. Most go smaller to spend less, says the CEO of the Wedding Report. It tells Axios. Cutting the guest list is the best way to save, with prices for meals, of course, venues, invitations, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it's just a product of inflation, which hasn't apparently hit as badly as it's supposed to hit this summer, but we'll see about all that.
Downsizing can also limit stress, plus free up cash for that open bar or unforgettable carving station, says Axios.
Thanks for
Wow.
that quote. Are carving stations like a thing? Let's say.
That would be memorable. If it
Right
was
up there with the unforgettable ice sculpture.
quality meat. I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So apparently this is a big deal. Pinterest searches for terms like City Hall elopement and courthouse wedding dress ideas have been surging among Gen Zers.
I mean, I told you I planned my wedding in like 5 minutes. I
See, that surprises me.
Why would you think I was like Cinderella there or something?
Yes, I would expect like if you do this.
The king and I?
Yes, I thought you'd have
Shall
like this.
we dance?
I thought you had like two ladies like carrying the train of your dress around.
I did, but it didn't take me long to pick it. You know what I mean? I was just like, I want this, 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 this. I mean, I'm saying, and I was on a budget and it was tight, to be clear. Because it sounds like I'm just ordering things.
See, I figured you were like on a yacht.
Oh, no. Oh, well, thanks for the, I love my image here.
Yes.
No, it was, but it was in a beautiful place
Okay,
and
sure.
great. But yes, we were conscious. And I always thought, like, why not put the money into a house or something?
See, that's where I think more responsible younger folks are realizing, like, you don't need, we spent way too much money on our wedding.
That sounds huge. But right, and then it's not about that one day; it's about the rest of your lives together.
Right? Yes.
Should you be lucky enough to have it?
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, it appears that those single folks who are getting married are picking up on that because less ballrooms and more micro seems
and less
to be the
complicated.
Trend. Yeah, just bring in some Subway sandwiches
and don't invite the family. Just kidding.
Or the roommate you haven't seen in 20 years.
Perfect.
6:45.
CertaPro Painters, the best in the business. WTMJ's John Mercure here. My wife and I were shocked at how thoughtful they are, how amazing they are, how they moved things that needed to be moved and got their jobs done fast and efficiently. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Slots are filling up fast. Now's the time for your home or your business. Get on their schedule. They will transform your house. It'll be the best-looking house in the neighborhood. The teams I trust are at CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Fleet Farm is the place to stock up on supplies for all your furry and feathered friends. Get a 40-pound bag of Sprout Mixed Bits cat food for just $25.99. Save $5 on all bags of Nutrisource dry dog food. And for you backyard birders, 20 pounds of KT Basic Blend bird food is now only $11.99. Count on your local Fleet Farm for the best prices guaranteed on all your feed, seed, and pet care needs. And find even more weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
Time for an update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk.
Huge series for your Milwaukee Brewers. It's Brewers and Cubs, first place Cubs, who are sitting 4.5 games ahead of the Crew in the Central Division. So you got to win these games. It's early yet, but you kind of want to chip away. I was a little surprised at these numbers. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel cites Baseball Reference, and Baseball Reference has the Brewers' odds of making the postseason right now at just 42%. And
not good. That's not great.
And just 5% the win to the division.
Well, how many people that are at 42 or under 50 actually make it?
Well, so it's so early. There's been teams that have gone on runs.
Isn't it too soon to tell?
Yeah, and it can
happen.
It seems a bit early. Fangraphs has the Crew winning the division at 11%. But again, it's you just want to chip away a little bit. You got to take a couple of these games if you can.
I mean, that kind of makes me laugh at like the sports talk. I do get a good kick out of that. Yes, winning is the point. Yes, you want to chip away.
You're really going to want to win today.
To really, really want to win.
Yeah, I mean, they're really going to want to take the game
tonight. That's my analysis.
Brewers and Cubs tonight. Our coverage starts at 6. The first pitch from Wrigley with it'll be Ben Brown and Chad Patrick on the hill for the Crew is at 7:10 right here on WTMJ Radio. To the NBA in Oklahoma City.
Turns it over, and that'll do it. The Oklahoma City Thunder now 1 win away from an NBA title.
ABC with the call. There's the Thunder beat the Pacers 120-109 in Game 5. Game 6 is back in Indy on Thursday night. It's actually been a really good NBA playoff season. Not sure how many people are following along since the Bucks got booted so early, but
it's just too sad.
Yeah.
Is it ever going to happen again?
You know what's interesting about this? We should ask Lori about this, and we'll check in with her here in a couple of minutes. There's no real, major stars. I mean, you got Tyrese the Halliburton, and you got the MVP on Oklahoma City, but otherwise, I don't think there are a lot of names that people know in this series.
I mean, it's just the case. It is. So it's hard to get all involved, especially if you're here in Milwaukee.
6:49.
It doesn't get any headlines just to be silently good. Big Fish Contracting, we say renovating homes, redeeming an industry.
It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
We're not only educating homeowners, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us. I mean, there's just such beauty in it, If anyone is considering reaching out to us,
or you can check us out on our website, bigfishcontracting.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
Sarah, how are you going to do a raised vegetable garden on this tiny condo balcony?
Grab that Craftsman drill and let's hang that trellis on the ceiling.
We've got the value you need, like $3 off Technor Apex Zero G garden hoses, 20% off all Fram oil filters, plus Blaine's best price promise. Find the lowest price with us or we'll match it.
Upside down tomatoes, here we come.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
We may be months away from winter, but it's never too early for the team down south to start hibernating. The Brewers head to Chicago to take on the Cubs.
Fly ball to center, and it is gone! Jackson Churio's got a dozen homers, and the Brewers have broken it wide open.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. We are the home of the Brewers, WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
6:51. Good morning, Debbie Lazaga.
Good morning, Erik. Southbound 41, still a hefty ride from Appleton Avenue all the way down to Capitol Drive. Northbound has filled in. We've got delays from Mayfair Road all the way up past Capitol, almost to Hampton. Northbound 43 slowing down now north of Fond du Lac Avenue up towards Keefe. Southbound still in the clear. And then westbound 94 got some backups from 27th Street all the way through the Stadium Interchange. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Little change in the weather you'll notice. It's warm and humid. Evening storms in the forecast for today. Partly cloudy, a high of 87. And tonight, that chance of storms persists in the evening. Again, humid, low of 65. Wednesday, mostly cloudy. And then an afternoon, heavy chance of rain into the evening and storms. Thursday, partly cloudy, a slight chance of thunderstorms on Thursday, a high of 80. Friday, partly cloudy, slight chance of storms persisting, high of 79 by the lake, 83 degrees inland. And Saturday, partly cloudy, hot and humid. Get this, we're talking heat index. A high of 89 degrees with a heat index of 95 degrees.
Forecast sponsored by Dave Drake Campaigning. Your comfort is their family's tradition. It's a real thing. And it's still affecting people. The taste, the smell, talking long COVID.
It's terrible.
The Milwaukee Journal's Sentinel's Lori Nickel, are you suffering from long COVID?
I don't know. I didn't even think of that until you said that. Now I think all the, AI totally diagnosed me as the Google doctors for sure. I've been sick all month since the beginning of June for sure. So, and last week I had no voice. Now I can't taste or smell anything, so feel awful still. I don't know. I have no idea. I thought we were done.
Do you test anymore, Lori?
I didn't. Can you, where would I was like, where, I don't even, this is so out of my memory.
I know. It's like 5 years now, I hear.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know there's a new variant going around, but I thought as many times as I've had this, shouldn't I be like Wonder Woman here? Shouldn't I be like a school teacher with the immune system of, no?
No, people still get really sick, and people get really sick from COVID still. They just don't know they have it, because nobody's really testing anymore. There's a sale on the COVID test.
Is there really a sale?
Yeah, I saw a discount 2 for 1 COVID test.
Lori, we can get you some.
Yeah, Walgreens.
Thanks. Oh, Walgreens. Okay, well, right after the air quality doesn't help me either, but because if you go I go biking in this, and then I come home, and I can't breathe, and I'm just like, wow, it's scary. It's genuinely scary.
Have you seen a doctor yet?
Oh, I've called and canceled many times because because
no, I'm not laughing.
Like,
I'm laughing in the, I understand where you're coming from.
I'm too old for this, man. You call and you're like, okay, well, it's Tuesday morning. We'll see you on Thursday afternoon.
Right.
And you're like, I'm going to be dead by then.
Totally.
I'm sorry, Lori. I'm just, it's the gallows humor. I don't mean that.
It's so it's true, and it's frustrating, and there's not enough doctors, and there's too many of us, and I feel bad, and then I feel weak and pathetic, and I don't even know what to tell you. It's just awful.
Hey, Lori, can I ask you something? So, as a sports reporter, you have covered all of the sports, all of the different games. It is your job. So you watch and observe every sport differently than I think a fan would. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, yeah.
So
1,000%.
ESPN's and ABC's Stephen A. Smith, who's quite the character, was caught playing solitaire on his phone during the NBA Finals. There's like a shot of him like looking at his phone, and he's like playing solitaire. Like, and then the phone pans up, and the game is going on, and he's being criticized for it. What's your take on that? The fact that a guy who is paid to go on television and to blog and to post about, said sport was not paying attention while it was taking place.
Two things on that. Number one, with all due respect, is he a journalist or is he an entertainer?
I'd say he's an entertainer.
Right. Okay. So then you can do whatever you want, really. That's what he's paid for, and he's paid a lot of money for. But here's what bothers me, the point number two. This isn't uncommon. Most journalists I know, every time out, every minute, we're scouring stats, we're looking at trends, we're finding injuries. We've got binoculars, we're studying players, because us regular working folks don't have the great seats that these big entertainers get, first of all. But during the 2021 playoff push for the Bucks, and as well as 2019, one thing that drove me nuts is there weren't enough seats at Pfizer for local media to be in the regular press row. The big people that came in, the famous media, both print and got those seats, and they didn't even go. They sat in the media press room where the food was, where the TVs were, and everything. And I went to get a soda or something. I could hear them just talking to each other and like commenting on the game and confirming. So this really upset me. I'm like, you're a journalist. You took a spot from a local TV person or a third string reporter who could really see this game. You took a spot, and you're not even up here working and absorbing the atmosphere and watching the fans and the interaction and all that. And that really bothered me. I know I've seen journalists, search movies and actresses and actors' profiles during games and stuff like that.
That's research.
But isn't that it's research? But can you make the same argument that if Amy was over there buying shoes online?
Well, who says I'm not?
Right? Like, I mean, don't we all do that at work?
I mean, sometimes you have a lapse, or you're tired, or you just need a mental break for a second. I don't have time for solitaire.
No, then sports media is not for that person, because there's so much. The fan is so educated. You need to at least keep up with them.
No, I agree. To be clear, I was being funny. I totally agree that it's offensive that this guy is just doing solitaire and taking up space. Stop breathing, man.
Read your local media. Do that if you want to find out what's going on. We give too much credit to this other stuff. And Amy, totally, I get you. I'm teasing, but I'm just saying it's a very stressful, competitive environment for us, too. We need to pay attention every second, for sure.
Feel better, Lori.
Thank you.
Lori Nickel from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. It's 6:58.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play, because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Don't let them ruin your summer. Vince Vitrano for the Bugman and Queen Bee. Just had Adam, the Bugman, out to my house for the stinging insect nest preventer service. And Adam tells me he's getting a lot of requests for this right now because of wasps. Now, this won't keep the bees and other pollinators from doing their important work in your yard or in your garden. What it will do is keep them from building a nest in your roof or inside the house. Local, family, veteran-owned and operated. 20% off your first service when you tell them Vinny sent you. Bugman, queenbee.com.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
This isn't just a rivalry. It's Brewers Cubs. And it's going down tonight in Chicago.
Curveball struck him out swinging.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30.
And Trevor McGill strikes out 3 to secure the series win.
We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
7:01, I'm Erik Bilstad. This is Wisconsin's Morning News for Tuesday, June 17th. Our top story, a surprise flight for the Commander-in-Chief.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Vince Vitrano. More details unveiled in the targeted attacks in Minnesota.
I'm Debbie Loziga. Southbound 43 dealing with an accident now. This is just past the Good Hope Road on-ramp. It is off on the left shoulder behind the barrels, but something to keep in mind heading through there. Northbound, slowing down a bit from Fond du Lac Avenue up towards Keefe. Westbound 94, you'll see delays from about 35th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And then southbound 41, a hefty ride from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy and humid today. Could see some storms this evening, a high of 87. Tonight, those scattered storms early on, then humid, a low of 65. Right now in Milwaukee, 71 at 7:02. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, President Trump is on the ground in Washington, back at the White House, expected to meet with his National Security Council this morning to discuss the conflict between Israel and Iran that continues to ramp up. The president racing back to Washington overnight, cutting short his trip to the G7 summit in Canada. ABC's Mary Bruce.
Sources tell ABC News the president raced back to try and make one last big diplomatic push. But on Air Force One, the president disputing claims by French President Macron that he's looking for a ceasefire, stressing he wants a lasting nuclear deal.
A real end, not a ceasefire. An end. Giving up entirely.
But adding,
they should have done the deal. I told them, do the deal. So I don't know. I'm not too much in a mood to negotiate.
Though he is signaling he's considering sending the vice president and his Mideast envoy to negotiate with the Iranians.
G7 leaders are hoping to contain the Israel-Iran conflict at the summit in Canada. Chair of faculty at Concordia University, Van Mobley, was there Monday. He tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News what he heard from President Trump.
You have to put the Middle Eastern conflict in context. The Middle East has been a volatile region for a while. Trump is interested, I think, in all areas, just like as in Ukraine, getting people to the table so that he thinks he's got a better chance, and I think he's right, of having a better outcome if we can get them at the table talking together.
Mobley noted talks between the president and other members of the summit appeared to be cordial before his sudden departure.
The details of the attacks on 2 Minnesota state lawmakers over the weekend sound like the script to a horror movie.
When Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman opened his front door Saturday, he was met by a man wearing a Halloween mask and an authentic-looking police uniform.
They shouted out, "You're not a cop."
Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson says the fake cop announced this is a robbery.
When Senator Hoffman attempted to push Belter out, Belter shot him repeatedly.
And then shot his wife, wounding both. The 57-year-old then is accused of driving 8 miles to the home of State Representative Melissa Hortman and killing her and her husband. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Another Wisconsin connection from the Minnesota lawmaker shooting suspect.
Property records show Vance Belter owned a building in Brillion for 4 years. According to our news partners at NBC 26, he purchased a building on Water Street under the name of his business Revo Formation Ministries, Inc. in November 2007. He bought it from Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church, which had previously operated its school there. Church officials say he didn't appear to do much at the building, only clean it out a bit before selling it to High Tech Electrical Services, Inc. in 2012. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Assembly Speaker Robin Voss has called for tighter security ahead of a planned floor session at the Wisconsin State Capitol tomorrow.
A woman is dead after a shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee.
The 29-year-old was shot near Vliet and King just before midnight.
Oh my God, y'all. It was a girl.
Video by a neighbor captured the shooting, which appeared to be the result of an argument between multiple people in the street.
They really just shot her. And they put the bag over her, so she died.
No one is in custody, but police are seeking a known suspect. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Coming up, a big move impacting our food supply.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:05.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care recently switched to James Imaging Systems for their document imaging technology. Why? CFO Sally Parente.
Well, I think that boils back down to the service. We have a good partnership with James Imaging.
With James, you get more than a vendor relationship. You get a local business technology partner.
Oh, absolutely. I can pick up the phone at any time, contact our representative, and he's right on it.
James Imaging Systems, business technology and local support for more productivity, more value.
Definitely. We're a nonprofit here. We have to watch every penny, so we really feel very comfortable in that area with James Imaging.
Comfortable enough to recommend James Imaging Systems to others?
Well, without hesitation, I would recommend James Imaging. They won't be disappointed.
James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
It's worth $100 now to save thousands later. Vince Vitrano for Urban Heating and Cooling. Family-owned business. Ryan and his wife, Ellie. I had Ryan out to the Vitrano house for an AC tune-up. Cleaned out all the coils, checked for any issues that could cause breakdowns, set up my air conditioner to run more efficiently all summer. This service available in your home for just $99 plus tax, saving on your electric bills, helping prevent more costly repairs down the road. Tell them Vinny sent you when you call. UrbanHeatingandCooling.com.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:07.
This hasn't happened in a College World Series in 65 years. That story at 7:15.
A Massachusetts jury is deliberating for a third day in Karen Reed's highly publicized second trial. She's accused of running over her Boston police boyfriend with her SUV. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer.
Reed's supporters and defense team argue she was framed in the death of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in 2022. But prosecutors claim she backed her car into him after a night of drinking and left O'Keefe to die in the snow. Reed has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges.
In Reed's first trial, a jury could not reach a decision in 5 days, which led to a mistrial.
Kraft Heinz is announcing it's going to remove all chemical dyes from its products.
The maker of Heinz ketchup, Kraft macaroni and cheese, Jell-O, and Kool-Aid says it will eliminate all artificial colors, including red number 40 and blue number 1, by the end of 2027. In April, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he wanted petroleum-based dyes removed from all food by the end of next year. He believes they lead to chronic disease.
If they want to eat petroleum, they ought to add it themselves at home. They shouldn't be feeding it to the rest of us.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
It's the largest music festival in the world, and it begins Thursday in Milwaukee.
Summerfest features 12 permanent stages, 9 days, and over 600 musical acts, and the occasional last-minute cancellation.
Things are going to happen. Unfortunately, we'd love to present the lineup that we announced.
Milwaukee World Festival President and CEO Sarah Pancari believes Summerfest's ability to be nimble is rooted in the event's history.
We pound the phones pretty quick to make sure we can try to figure out the best way to fill that slot, because we certainly don't want an empty stage. It's our friends in the industry that really help us through those moments.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
3 of the 4 headliners who canceled this year have been replaced.
Coming up, overnight attacks between Israel and Iran sends the president back to Washington. What happens next? That story in a minute.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Tyson's Home Farm Auto is opening a new store in Ripon, and they're hiring. They'd love to have you on their team. Join them for open interviews on Tuesday, June 24th from 9 to 7 and Wednesday, June 25th, 9 to 5 at the Ripon Public Library, or apply online at theisens.com/careers. Tyson's has over 50 immediate full and part-time positions available for sales associates, cashiers, receiving, and more. Tyson's offers a complete benefit package. Stop by the Ripon Public Library June 24th and 25th, or apply online for an opportunity to join Tyson's team.
7-Eleven. How are we looking now, Debbie Lazago?
Well, we still have this accident southbound 43 just past Good Hope Road. It is off on the left shoulder behind the barrels, but something to keep in mind. It is a little bit bunched up right past that. Northbound 43 slowing from Fond du Lac Avenue up towards Keefe. Northbound 41 slow from about Mayfair Road all the way up almost to Hampton. Southbound side's backed up from just south of Appleton Avenue to Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Very warm and muggy start to the day on this Tuesday. High temperatures climb into the upper 80s this afternoon. Look for the chance for evening storms. Scattered storms will continue into tonight, mainly early low temperatures falling into the 60s. Wednesday, we'll look for mostly cloudy skies. Showers and storms are likely, heavy at times in the afternoon with high temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy and lower rain chances on Thursday with a high temperature near 80. Still a small chance for a shower or storm on Friday with temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. Then quickly warming our temperatures up for the weekend. Highs on Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. With high humidity, heat index values will be near 95. I'm meteorologist Tyler Moore. The Storm Team forecast on WTMJ.
71 degrees right now.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, this is Wisconsin's Morning News. Here's your host, Erik Bilstad.
Along with Amy Taylor. Amy's in for Vince.
Good morning.
Hi, Amy. Good morning. Big story that we're following internationally is what's happening in the Middle East right now. Another day of attacks between Iran and Israel. It's led the president to leave the G7 summit in Canada one day early. So he's already back in Washington. He landed overnight back in Washington, D.C. to monitor this situation.
White House officials say the U.S. has no plans to join the fight, though refueling jets and a second carrier strike group are moving closer to the region, just in case Iran tries to strike U.S. bases.
So the president did hold a scrum, if you will, as they call it in the business. He spoke to reporters on Air Force One on their flight back to D.C. and said that he's not really calling for a ceasefire.
And then a real end, not a ceasefire. And then so something that would be permanent. Giving up entirely. That's okay, too.
Yeah, so as of now, U.S. doesn't really want to get involved, but he says they would.
Well, we'll come down so hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard, then the gloves are off so beautifully.
The gloves would be off so beautifully, he said it.
He is weighing a critical decision whether the United States should get involved in this, and specifically to destroy this nuclear enrichment facility, Fordo, which is very deep in the ground, and we have the ability to do it with a bunker-busting bomb. No one else has that bomb in the world, and no one else has the B-2 bombers to carry the bombs. So that's a question. But he seems to be implying that he's trying to get them to negotiate an end to having all weapons. But the Iranians say we're not going to do that. So.
Meanwhile, we're seeing video of people leaving in droves from Tehran, the Iranian capital, because the president yesterday posted on social media, hey, you should evacuate if you live there. And
Yeah,
you
it's a
wonder if
mess.
like Israel knew that he was going to do that or not, if that was something they communicated to each other. But that's obviously causing some people to either A, panic, or B, realize that, wow, this could really ramp up really quickly.
Right, and you're still seeing missiles flying both directions.
So keeping an eye on that situation. Any developments, we will bring them to you immediately. It's 7:14. We got sports in 60 seconds.
Hi, I'm Erik Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double-check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family-owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
WTMJ's Erik Bilstad here for QC Kinetics. Have you had a moment recently where all of a sudden your knees are starting to bark, or your back because you sat in the bleachers during graduation, or maybe you sat in the car a long time going someplace, or you're finally out doing the work in the garden or on the yard and you realize, okay, now my back is never going to be the same. Well, the time is now to call QC Kinetics. You don't have to live with the pain, and you can get fixed easy. It doesn't take a lot of work. It takes regenerative treatments that take your own body's healing power and helps restore your damaged tissue. These are well-respected protocols that include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments, and the time is now. You call QC Kinetics and say goodbye to the pain. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics and get yourself a free consultation. Explain what's ailing you. They can explain how they can take care of it, and then you can live without pain and without surgery. Call QC Kinetics today.
Time for an update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk.
The Brewers wake up in Chi-Town. Big series against the Northsiders. Brewers and Cubs. The Cubs are in first place. The Brewers are 4.5 games back, and we will see the Miz again this series. That's the rookie phenom pitcher.
He'll go on Wednesday. Chad Patrick goes Tuesday. Freddie will go the finale on Thursday.
Thank you, Dom. Dom Catronia there on Brewers 360, running down the pitchers. So Chad Patrick on the hill today. So yeah, the Brewers are 4.5 games back behind the Cubs. Now, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel cites Baseball Reference saying that the Brewers' odds of making the postseason right now is 42%, but it's early yet. Who knows? You win a couple of these games.
What are they basing that on?
Well,
it must be something, right?
Analytics and math.
Yeah, division.
Algorithms.
Long division.
Yes.
Exactly.
All of those things. Fangraphs has them winning the division at 11%. But anything can change after a couple of games.
I'm pulling for those Brewers. Come on.
And it is early. Yeah, we will chat with the manager, Pat Murphy, at 8:45 on Brewers 360. Shohei Ohtani's back on the mound. The Babe Ruth wannabe hasn't pitched in a game in 22 months. He's been batting, of course. Well, he was back on the mound, pitching 1 inning last night, giving up 2 hits and a run as the Dodgers beat the Padres. Speaking through an interpreter.
I'm not quite happy with the results, but there were a lot that I was able to take away from today's outing and today's game.
He did hit triple digits pitching, so...
What's the cost per game there for him?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, right?
Well, and think about how much they spent on the guy. But he still hit, and he went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. For batting, so he's fine. He'll be back on the mound even more here moving forward. How about this for dealing? Speaking of pitchers, College World Series, kid named Gage Wood throws a no-hitter for Arkansas.
1-2. Swing and a miss! Greatness from Gage! A no-hitter!
Kid had 19 strikeouts.
That's some awesome audio. I just want to listen.
That's how it sounded on ESPN as they beat Murray State, Arkansas did. And in Oklahoma City, the Thunder beat the Pacers 120-109 in Game 5. Now, Game 6 is back in Indy. That is Thursday night. So one more win for Oklahoma City, and they are your NBA champions. 7:18.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on June 17th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in June 17th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check out your local listings to watch the game.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m., June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m. The Cane Table from Penny Mustard is more than just a table.
It's hosted countless brunches.
It's where important documents are signed.
And where family meetings are held.
It's headquarters for homework.
Craft projects.
Board games.
And the wrapping of various gifts.
It's not about food.
It's about memories.
So it's gotta last.
It will, for generations to come.
The Cane Dining Room Table with 6 encore chairs starting at $61.97 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
How are you going to do a raised vegetable garden on this tiny condo balcony?
Grab that Craftsman drill and let's hang that trellis on the ceiling.
We've got the value you need to do things your way, like assorted Fiskars Ergo Series garden hand tools, $7.99, and new at Blaine's AgriMaster Premium Pine Shavings, just $5.99 each.
Upside down tomatoes, here we come.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
7:20. Hi, Debbie.
Hey there. Looks like southbound on 43, we still have this accident behind the barrels on the left shoulder just past Good Hope Road. So that's something to keep in mind if you're heading through that area. It is a bit slow from Good Hope all the way down to about Bender Road. We got northbound side backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keefe. Northbound 43 slowing from about Mayfair Road all the way up past Capitol Drive, with the southbound side hitting the brakes from Appleton Avenue down to Capitol. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your forecast sponsored by Dave Dre Camp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Partly cloudy, warm, humid. Could see some storms this evening. A high of 87. Tonight, scattered storms early on and humid. A low of 65. Wednesday, cloudy with some heavy rain possible later in the day tomorrow. High of 73. Thursday, slight chance for rain, a high of 80. Friday, 83 with a slight chance for rain. Saturday, 89 with a heat index in the 90s. So it is now summer. Right now, 71 degrees at 7:21. Erik Bilstad along with Amy Taylor. Amy's in for Vince today. Amy, you're a traveler. Right?
I mean, more recently because, I got my kids in college, so.
So you can go places now?
A little bit,
No,
we're
I
a
get
little
it.
hamstrung for years between the job and the children.
Got a couple of stories from overseas that are causing issues right now. In Barcelona, that's fireworks going off.
Scary, though.
And then these are people, angry locals, shooting tourists with squirt guns and screaming at them. So why are they doing this? Here's a woman speaking through an interpreter on Reuters.
We need responsible tourism, not mass tourism, but tourism that respects health, respects labor, respects dignity, and respects all of us who work in the tourism sector. Because what mass tourism brings us is poverty. We don't benefit from this kind of tourism.
So they're upset with the mass tourism. They feel it actually hurts the city when you just cram all these tourists into the place. So they are, and they've done this before, but they are pushing back.
Well, you're contending with crowds, right? And that's unpleasant. But I think one of the main issues is that the local people who live there cannot afford the cost of housing in Barcelona,
yes.
right? And so you have all these Airbnbs,
Yep.
and the tourists are coming in and they're renting for these exorbitant rates at times, and pricing local people out of the market.
So how can you protest without protesting the tourists, though? That seems like a bad move to me.
It seems like a really bad move. I know I was telling you, I went to Hawaii one time, and this was years ago, but I felt like a vibe that was like, from some of the people there that I was annoying. I mean, I know I'm annoying, but that's another story. But do you know what I'm saying? That sort of, and they had been known at that time to not want tourists in Hawaii. I'm sure that's changed by now, or maybe it hasn't. But certain places are hostile to tourism.
It depends on where you go. It
Right.
seems like some places you go and they like welcome you with open arms because you are the main source of money for the country. Like if you go to some Caribbean islands are like that.
Very hospitable.
Right, like over the top. And it's almost in the culture to just be super hospitable because
it makes you want to go again.
Yes, and that's
makes you want to spend.
But that's the only money they have coming in too.
Right.
But in these places, boy,
Well, we were recently in Paris, and we were so warned about the Parisians being unfriendly and hating rude Americans. Well, that's the whole point, is don't be rude. And I found that just being extremely friendly, humble, and courteous, and saying bonjour, merci, and all those types of things that are easy enough to do was it was great. They were wonderful.
Speaking of Paris, also in the news this week,
thousands of confused tourists left waiting for hours yesterday after staff at the Louvre refused to open the doors. The exhausted employees rebelling against mass tourism and crippling crowds. The beloved museum, home to masterpieces such as the Mona Lisa and Venus de Milo, now sees nearly 9 million visitors each year, about 25,000 per day on average.
It's ABC's Lionel Maurice. Yeah, so they're having so many people go through there, and they claim that the Louvre, actually, the museum is struggling to uphold it, that they are protesting. They didn't open the doors.
Kind of quaking with the staff.
You've
with
been
the
in the museum there?
Yeah, I was just there, just at the Louvre. And it was, the crowds were manageable. This was in March.
Okay.
And it was actually quite pleasant. And if you go in the side door, that's the key. Don't wait by the pyramid. You go along the side doors, you can get in pretty quickly, and it wasn't bad at all.
So most people don't realize there's a side door?
You know what? I didn't, because that's how they direct you. But if you go on Instagram, you can get the inside story from all those influencers, and hit the travel people.
An internal memo is warning the museum is wearing out, with water leaks and temperature fluctuations putting some of the priceless art at risk.
Yeah, I hear Macron has some big plan to try to revitalize the museum, right?
In fact, it's funny you say that. So Macron recently announced plans to renovate and build a separate entrance for visitors coming to see the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, the Mona Lisa is just so crowded that you can't. I couldn't get close to it without, just bodily discomfort.
Smaller than you think, isn't it?
Yeah, so tiny, right, Deb?
Yep.
So little. There she is.
Is it a big room?
It's literally kind of like, yes, it's a big room. It's a huge room. And then they sort of let people kind of take turns and go in waves up to the front. And my daughters went up to it. But I stood afar and just really sort of was more observing the humanity, sea of humanity, trying to see the Mona Lisa.
Are there other pieces of art like in the same room that no one looks at that are like just as priceless, but like
totally? They're like, oh, there's the Van Gogh Starry Night or something. No one cares. Man, it's her, and we know what she looks like, but we still want to get close.
And I assume that's the reason people go to that museum. Obviously, art lovers want to see it all, but most tourists, I would assume, are going there just to see the Mona Lisa.
I guess that's a huge draw, but there's so much at the Louvre that's just spectacular. That's with all sincerity, just incredible.
See if they can open up again. News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. We are an hour from the bell. All the futures still in the red at the moment. Again, the bell, of course, 1 hour from now. Annex Wealth Management, financial planning at every level. It's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, our weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Now, Jeff, we've discussed all of the mergers and acquisitions in the insurance agency space recently. What effect is all this activity having on the local landscape?
Thank you, Vince. Great to be here again. M&A activity here locally has created a marketplace in the state where a few things are happening. Some national brokers are getting bigger. Great for their shareholders, great for their private equity owners. Some new players and names have entered the Wisconsin marketplace. Lastly, we've observed one other material change as well.
So points 1 and 2 pretty clear, Jeff. Tell us a little bit more about your last point.
Important risk management services are becoming harder to obtain. The premium threshold to access these services has been raised. Or, if the service is available, it might only be through a remote location, self-service, or online.
So what kind of services are we talking about, Jeff? Give us a better understanding of what's available.
As a full-service insurance agency, R&R clients have access to loss prevention services that are critical to remaining competitive and managing costs. Experienced claim management to guide you through and navigate a complex claim situation. Lastly, data analysts and account executives that make sure your business is actively managing risk and making data-driven decisions.
So why should a business or family work with R&R Insurance?
At R&R, we invest in human capital, real people to serve our clients locally. Loss prevention specialists, claim professionals, a full-service analytics team, a wellness strategies and mindful living team, account executives and compliance specialists. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Well, looks like we still have this crash on 43 southbound, just south of Good Hope Road, behind the barrels, off on the left. So something to look at, I guess, as you go by. We are seeing delays from before Good Hope Road. Then we've also got some delays with a crash on 894 northbound, right at the ramp from Oklahoma Avenue. That's got the right lane blocked, so that is going to be starting to slow things down through that area. Another broken down vehicle on northbound 4394 heading through the Mitchell interchange that might be tying things up as well. Typical delays around the rest of the area. Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Going to be humid today with storms this evening, a high of 87 degrees. Right now it's 71.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. President Trump's back in Washington because of the Iran-Israel attacks, having left the G7 summit in Canada earlier than expected. And so did ABC's Mary Bruce, traveling with him.
Trump telling reporters there on Air Force One that he decided to race back to the White House so that he could, quote, be a little more well-versed and not have to rely on phones as he navigates this crisis.
In Tel Aviv, ABC's Ian Pannell.
A mass exodus from the Iranian capital following warnings from President Trump and Israel. Huge lines of cars, bumper to bumper on the road out of Tehran.
One of the worst Russian air attacks on Ukraine's capital happened overnight. Drones and missiles killing at least 14, say Ukrainian officials. Makers of many things to eat, including cream cheese, Jell-O, Kool-Aid, and Lunchables, the Kraft Heinz Company announcing it will not launch any new products in the U.S. with artificial colors effective immediately. The company says it's already removed the coloring from 90% of its products. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:31.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a woman is dead following a shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee. Victim, 29 years old, was shot near Vliet and King around midnight. No one's in custody, but police are telling us they know who they're looking for.
A dairy farmer from northeast Wisconsin sues the Trump administration for discrimination. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed the suit on behalf of Adam Faust of Chilton. The allegation that the federal government is illegally denying financial assistance to white farmers in favor of continuing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. 6 Wisconsin Republicans are calling on the USDA to investigate ending the policies.
Streetcar service remains delayed in Milwaukee after a crash on Monday. An SUV hit a streetcar and another vehicle near Milwaukee and Wells Street. 6 passengers on board the streetcar. No serious injuries were reported.
A hybrid cocktail lounge in downtown Milwaukee recognized as one of the best new bars in the nation. Agency was a finalist in the Best New Bar category from the James Beard Awards. The bar opened in January of 2024 and is located in the Double Dutch Hotel.
Mining near Medford. Greenlight Metals will start mining this week.
Wisconsin has a long history with mining. In fact, there's a miner on our state flag. But the Badger State hasn't seen much mining lately.
But with the interest in the U.S. securing access to critical metals, there's new attention being focused on the state.
Steve Donahue was on the board of directors for Greenlight Metals. Its team moved equipment into place on Monday. The drilling starts this week, and the exploration begins.
So we know that they have good grades of copper and other metals. And that's where we're going to be starting this week on a deposit that has been drilled historically.
Jessica Ty, WTMJ News.
Last fall, WTMJ listeners donated more than $80,000 to repair Bayview Medal of Honor recipient Lance Sijon's plane at the Milwaukee airport. That work is now underway.
The husband-wife team of Andy and Luli Bishop have arrived from Florida and are sanding and painting Lance Sijon's plane.
This is first class, very nicely done, and really happy to be a part of getting it looking good again.
As they work in the elements, they think about Saigon struggling in the Vietnamese jungle.
This should be pristine, considering Lance Saigon's story.
It tugs at our heart. It's a soft spot for us.
Just happy to be a part of it.
It just makes you feel good.
It's about restoring the legacy of a hero. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
The complete renovation of the Saigon Plain should be done in less than 3 weeks.
Traffic sponsored by the shower remodel experts at Kohler Services, WI.com.
Upgrade to a beautiful Kohler Luxstone shower in as little as a day or two with the shower remodel experts at Kohler Services. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com today.
Coming up, creating your own memoriam. The news is brought to you by J&J Contractors. Visit jjcontractorsllc.com.
Imagine waking up to the updated kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. J&J Contractors is your preferred partner in all your home renovation needs. They can transform your kitchen with beautiful new floors, custom cabinetry, and more. Dreaming of a spa-like oasis with custom tile work and fixtures? J&J Contractors will design a bathroom that leaves you feeling relaxed and rejuvenated. For your free consultation, just search online, J&J Contractors, or call 414-423-9200. J&J Contractors. Welcome home.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
At Big Fish Contracting, we want every home project to be a good story worth sharing. That's why we as a team aim to exceed your expectations. We can improve any aspect of your home. Everything from a complex remodel to the essential roof, gutters, siding, and windows. Integrity, humility, and kindness are why we've grown in southeastern Wisconsin for the last 2 decades. Visit BigFishContracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hey, Debbie, southbound 794. There was just an accident. Right now, it looks like at least one lane is closed.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, on the WTMJ traffic tip line, 414-238-9329.
Highway 45 southbound. A tire came off of a car.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
Northbound 41 at Burleigh. 3 vehicle accident just happened in front of me.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:36.
Shohei returns. We explain why that matters at 7:45. I don't know if you've noticed this, but millennials have a new obsession.
I don't claim to understand millennials that much, so do enlighten me.
They're making their own funeral montages. So it sounds dark, but a growing number of 30-somethings want to be prepared for the worst and also remembered at their hottest. Some more.
This is just so weird.
Pancakes is staring at me.
Do you? I mean,
so
no.
I don't have my funeral plan, no.
Yeah, exactly.
More of you, though, Greg, are picking the shots themselves along with the music for what's typically turning out to be a 25-minute long in memoriam video. So it's like a montage, maybe the slow look, the cool zoom in.
I just feel like most of what's reported about them is just like, what?
But the idea of planning your own funeral, that's been around forever, right? Like,
yeah, but not at age 30. I mean, is that how doomsday we've become? That people are that depressed that they're thinking, I better get this handled?
See, it's interesting that you went with that thought. I just figure we were just narcissistic enough to just want to do this.
I think that's totally accurate.
You know what's worse than dying? Dying and then looking bad and people remembering that you didn't look good.
Well, and you don't want the picture that people put up there to be like, oh, no, why'd you pick that one? If you can choose what video and
you're
pictures.
Gonna want it. I understand that. Actually, my parents had a headstone with a photo put on it.
Really?
And it's like in the granite. And so, it shouldn't laugh, but my mother predeceased my father.
Okay.
So we had to pick a photo. And I keep thinking, every time I see it, I think she would be so mad. if she saw that we used that picture.
So that's not the photo she would have wanted?
I don't think it is. No, but I understand what you're talking about, that it just has to be like, you want to look good and hot. I think you're right about the narcissism.
Yeah, it gives you a reason to do it. Otherwise,
how many people are doing this, by the way? 3? What? What? Who's doing this?
Well, so you make a great point, Amy, because oftentimes we as the media will hook on a trend, even though it's really just like 4 people.
Right. It's just a very odd. It's one of the odder things I've heard.
But this is, you're going to see more of this. More people creating their 25-minute long in memoriams, and then they'll have it ready to be posted and shared if, God forbid, that time comes.
Right. So it's about the social media too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
7:39. This portion of the show brought to you by Steinhoffels. You can visit them at steinhoffels.com.
The deals are heating up during Steinhoffel's summer sale. Start with 10% off the entire store, living room, bedroom, dining, and so much more. Make your new room more affordable with Steinhoffel's special financing, and you'll get a $100, $200, or $300 MasterCard to spend later. But hurry, just like summer, these sizzling savings won't last long. The summer sale, only at Steinhoffels and steinhoffels.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here. The paint on the outside of your house is the first impression that people have. CertaPro Painters painted our house and did great. They moved the planters around. They moved the grill out of the way. The little things are important to CertaPro Painters, and they always get it right. Schedule the outside of your house to be done. A free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or your business. The details matter to CertaPro Painters. They do it right the first time. They clean up after themselves. They leave your property better than it ever was. Each CertaPro Painter is independently owned and operated.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory is arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
7:41. Hi, Debbie Lasga.
Hi there. Well, looks like things are starting to kick in a little bit. Northbound 43 right in the Marquette. Off on the left shoulder, we've got a crash, so watch out for that. Of course, we've got the other one on southbound 43 right about at Good Hope Road behind the barrels. Squad finally pulled up to it, so they're working on that one. It is slowing down from before Good Hope Road past that scene. Northbound 43 also slow from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Keefe. We've got southbound 41 slowing down from Appleton Avenue to Capitol. Northbound slowing from just before Mayfair Road up to Capitol Drive. We got eastbound 94 hitting the brakes at Highway 164 heading past Highway F and then again past Barker. And one more delay from about 84th Street through the Stadium interchange. I'm Debbie Lasga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Very warm and muggy start to the day on this Tuesday. High temperatures climb into the upper 80s this afternoon. Look for the chance for evening storms. Scattered storms will continue into tonight, mainly early low temperatures falling into the 60s. Wednesday will look for mostly cloudy skies. Showers and storms are likely, heavy at times in the afternoon with high temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy and lower rain chances on Thursday with a high temperature near 80. Still a small chance for a shower or storm on Friday with temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. Then quickly warming our temperatures up for the weekend. Highs on Saturday in the upper 80s to near 90. With high humidity, heat index values will be near 95. I'm meteorologist Tyler Moore. The Storm Team forecast on WTMJ.
71 degrees at 7:43. Erik along with Amy Taylor. Amy's in for Vince today.
How you doing?
I'm great. And the summer weather is now really here. You're going to feel the humidity today. Getting a little bit more detail about what happened in Minnesota. Some new allegations against the suspect accused of shooting those two state lawmakers and their spouses over the weekend.
Authorities now revealing the man they say was behind a politically motivated assassination in Minnesota had a hit list of 45 targets that included members of Congress, lawmakers from Minnesota to Michigan, Planned Parenthood leaders, and healthcare workers. 57-year-old Vance Bolter is accused of shooting and killing Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband at their home early Saturday. Bolter also accused of wounding State Senator John Hoffman and his wife a few miles away.
ABC's Brandon Alley there. So, 45 targets from 3 different states, including Wisconsin. We do know that Senator Tammy Baldwin and Congressman Mark Pocan and Congresswoman Gwendolyn Moore were on that list.
So apparently Bolter had a connection to religious affiliation. This Revo Formation Ministries or something like that had rented a building in Chilton. Is that correct?
And then
or Brilliant.
And then also, and that's just across the border, right? And then also lived in Sheboygan for a bit, went to Cardinal Stritch. So lots of Wisconsin connections there.
But the sort of like religious background that he had, and then maybe his hatred for the abortion issue or more liberal causes.
It would appear that the abortion thing may have been what prompted part of this motivation. Hearing now from the president on it in the wake of the shootings on Air Force One. So the president flew back home overnight to Washington because of what's happening overseas between Iran and Israel. He was asked if he had planned to call the Minnesota governor, Tim Walz.
I'm not calling. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
So, not intending on calling the Minnesota governor.
Honestly, that's just really shocking.
You're being sarcastic.
I can never not be shocked. that is, it's just really interesting that I think when we talk about the rhetoric, that's one of the issues is that just, showing sympathy for people who are really suffering should be maybe what we could expect.
Yeah, a little bit of empathy.
Yeah, some empathy, some sincere condolences. So, maybe he doesn't want to call him. I get that. Don't call the guy. But, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for their loss. I'm sorry for the people of Minnesota. It seems like something that would occur to a person to say.
It's usually a political move, right?
Yeah.
Politicians will say that.
Am I going too far with this?
No, I think that's general. There is no argument.
No, give me your argument. I'm good.
I'm not arguing because I disagree with what you're saying. But
sure.
But you could make the argument that politicians have been doing that for years, and for what purpose? Why call just to call?
Like that it's false. It's a false condolence or a false sense of...
And in this case, clearly it would be a false condolence.
It would be false. No, okay, yeah.
But again, I'm not defending the president.
No, but point well taken. We should be talking about these things. That's true. I think it's a good point.
746.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Time for an update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk.
All right, here we go. Brewers play the first place Cubs starting tonight on the north side. So the Brewers sit 4.5 games back behind the North Siders, and they have 3 big games. Tonight, Chad Patrick's on the hill. Miz, the new guy, Jacob Mizorowski, will be on the hill tomorrow, and then Freddie Peralta. So you got some guns here. You got some big arms coming in. So
got a shot.
Yes. Can you chip away at that 4.5 game lead?
Because winning, after all, is the point.
Starting tonight, right here on WTMJ Radio, our coverage begins at 6. Again, first pitch around 7:10. Shohei was back on the mound for the Dodgers.
21 months after elbow surgery, Shohei Ohtani pitched for the first time in an L.A. Dodgers uniform.
2-2 to Arise.
Slapped into center field, a base hit, and back-to-back singles for the Padres to welcome Ohtani back to the mound.
He gave up 2 hits and a run on Spectrum Sportsnet. A fastball was clocked at just over 100 miles an hour in a 6-3 Dodgers win over San Diego. Ohtani later said he felt a bit nervous, and he anticipates pitching once a week going forward. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
So the rich get richer in L.A. To the NBA.
Turns it over, and that'll do it. The Oklahoma City Thunder now 1 win away from an NBA title.
Oh, Pacers are on the brink. The Thunder win Game 5, so 120-109 the final there. So Game 6 is back in Indy on Thursday night. I guess Tyrese Halliburton, the guy from the 920, our kid from Oshkosh, got hurt. He had a calf injury when he fell on the court there, though. The head coach was asked afterwards. Rick Carlisle said this about Halliburton's injury.
He's not 100%. It's pretty clear. But I don't think he's going to miss the next game. And, we were concerned at halftime. And he insisted on playing. And I thought he made a lot of really good things happen in the second half.
Again, the Thunder lead 3-2. 7:49, Tausch is next.
With over 57 years of experience, family-owned Yutka Fence installs high-quality fencing with residential options, including vinyl, wood, aluminum, chain link, and ornamental fences. Committed to craftsmanship and customer service, Yutka Fence doesn't just build fences, they build relationships based on care, trust, precision, and protecting what matters most. Mention you're a WTMJ fan for 10% off your project. Schedule your free estimate today at yutkafence.com or call 262-859-3226.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Welcome back to Ask Hasslis.
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
By trading in that old mattress for a new Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hasslis Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. Plus, next day delivery and haul away of the old mattress for P.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasslis.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Rejuvenix Arthritis Pain Clinics. Go to rejuvenix.com for an appointment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Debbie Lazga, how are those roads looking?
Well, we got a string of accidents to deal with because the pavement is dry. Well, we've got one on 43 southbound, just south Good Hope Road. It is off on the left behind the barrels, so squad is with it. They're working on that. We've got one on westbound 94 at Mitchell Boulevard. Looks like the left lane is blocked with that one. Definitely seeing delays with that. Also, northbound 43 heading through the Marquette. The left shoulder is blocked with that. And then the other one on 894 northbound, right at the ramp from Oklahoma Avenue, off on the right shoulder as well. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The weather for today coming right up on Tuesday. Partly cloudy, warm, humid evening storms, a high of 87 degrees. Tonight, scattered storms early, still humid out there. This change in the weather pattern persists throughout most of the week. Mostly cloudy Wednesday. Evening, heavy rain and storms again, a high of 73. Thursday, partly cloudy, a slight chance of storms, a high of 80. But then Friday, again, partly cloudy, a slight chance of storms, 79 by the lake, 83 degrees inland. And Saturday, really turning up the heat, partly cloudy, hot and humid, a high of 89. The heat index, 95 degrees.
Forecast sponsored by Dave Dracamp Heating.
Idea Man.
I love the whole idea of paintballing and getting to know your teammates. That stuff is great.
Innovator.
At some point, it is football, and you have to actually learn what the heck you need to do.
And Packers Hall of Famer.
Bilstad wants these guys crocheting and, having their kiln fired up. I want to make sure Matthew Golden knows what route to run on 3rd and 7, not, hey, you need to have your temp up to 650 degrees in order to get this thing baked, the proper technique, so that you can make this pop.
It's time for Tausch on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
All right, Tausch. So it has come to my attention that you have come up with a list from most pressure to least pressure when it comes to the quarterbacks of the NFC North. Which quarterbacks are under the most pressure to succeed this upcoming season, and which ones are looking at the least amount of pressure? Is that right?
That is right. There was an article that all of the Rob Domofsky's and everybody that covers the NFC North, they kind of put their stamp on who they thought was, and I know Rob put J.J. McCarthy, and I found it interesting the only beat guy that put their own quarterback on the list was Detroit. So I always feel like I have a pretty good pulse on how Packer fans are feeling, and just in general, as you're out and about, and we do 3 hours a day on it. This one surprised me because I think when I look at the big picture of this, Minnesota last year was a lot better than I thought, and they switched quarterbacks. Does anyone really believe that J.J. McCarthy is going to be able to replicate what Sam Darnold did? I think their coach is fantastic. He's done a great job. But the part that's been surprising is, Jared Goff, he was the quarterback for the Rams when they went to a Super Bowl. They scored 3 points, and Sean McVay didn't think that he would be good enough to win him a championship, so they went and got Matthew Stafford, and they won a championship. Jared Goff now, and I give him a ton of credit, has played really good football, but how much of that was Ben Johnson? And why I think there's so much pressure, Jared Goff's getting older. Detroit, as they've now had 2 seasons where they've had opportunities to win, and they didn't. That pressure of getting back, winning the North again, and doing it without the wunderkind of Ben Johnson calling all of the plays, I think is just slightly ahead, because I think Jordan Love is under some pressure too. Green Bay went and did a ton of things this year in the offseason on the offensive line and the receiving core that is saying, here you go, Jordan. We have everything you can. But I still think that Jared Goff, with all of the other Jordan Love has a longer runway. I think Jared Goff's is a lot smaller, and that's why I put him kind of at the top of that list of who has the most pressure.
So you have Goff, Love, and then Williams. Is that right, out of Chicago?
Williams and then McCarthy. Yeah, okay. Because Caleb Williams is going to get a little grace because last year was such a you-know-what down in Chicago. The coaches, they weren't watching film, whatever it was. And now he gets Ben Johnson. I think everybody always has a little bit of grace, maybe not down in Chicago, but everywhere else, that, hey, it's your first year under this system. There's going to be some growing pains, and I feel the same way about J.J. McCarthy. Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. Jordan Love's been around now. This is going to be his sixth year, third as a starter. This is now the time for him to elevate his game. So it was pretty easy for me to kind of rank those quarterbacks.
Hey, Talis, changing gears just quickly, are you the type of guy that when it's your birthday, you want to have people come up and celebrate that with you and cheer that on? Or are you I hope no one brings up that it's my birthday kind of guy?
It's an interesting question. Why would you ask me that question on a day like today is, I guess. So for me, I'm at the point now. Yeah. I like when I get, well, thank you very much. I like when I get wishes. I don't want the big spectacle. Maybe when I'm 50. When I get to 50, then I'll take the spectacle. But as we're sitting here on a Tuesday when I'm going to be whatever age I'm going to be, I just enjoy a good text to think that you're thinking about me on my birthday. Other than that, I don't really need anything else.
Well, send in the text then. Because
well, I was waiting. I got one from Vinny. I'm kind of surprised I didn't get one from you, but I kind of see where I'm at in the pecking order here.
I mean, at least I've wished him a happy birthday.
That was very nice. Thank you very much.
You know that we all know a certain somebody who would prefer that his birthday is never ever mentioned, ever. So just you never know for sure.
Got to be sensitive about these things. But do you have plans with your wife?
So today is more kids related. As we find out, once your kids are out of school, it's actually worse. Like your schedule's worse. I don't know how that's possible, but totally there's more stuff on my new calendar that I got for my birthday, which I'm not 100% sure is, but I'm sure we'll figure something out and do something later tonight, but I don't think there's anything major planned.
Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
7:59, Tausch on Wisconsin's Morning News, sponsored by Kohler Services and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Bratfest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at travelwisconsin.com.
There's nothing out there close to this.
I'm Jim Token, president of the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. Nobody can keep your car running smoothly like an Adam new car dealer. Adam service technicians are factory trained and use original factory parts backed by a warranty. Best of all, you'll find competitive pricing equal to or even lower than independent shops. A well-maintained car delivers maximum gas mileage and saves you money. Call an Adam dealer today because you're always better off at an Adam new car dealer.
Get an oil change and safety inspection today.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
When you need commercial or residential plumbing service, you need it now. Call Quality. We have over a 60-year track record of taking care of people. And with over 60 vehicles ready to respond to your needs, we'll be there in a hurry, so you won't have to worry. This is Anthony Zaneski. For commercial or residential plumbing service, call Quality and get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. At Quality, we offer the most respected brand names in heating and air conditioning. Armstrong and Carrier. It doesn't get any better. And our technicians are top-notch. I know, because I handpicked every one of them. They're vetted and thoroughly trained. Hey, they're the cream of the crop. And that's why our quality workmanship guarantee is the strongest in the business.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Built Right. One location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
This isn't just a rivalry. It's Brewers Cubs. And it's going down tonight in Chicago.
Curveball struck him out swinging.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30.
And Trevor McGill strikes out 3 to secure the series win.
We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 8:01, it is 75 degrees. I'm Erik Bilstad. This is Wisconsin's Morning News for Tuesday, June 17th. Our top story, the Middle East tensions cut short a G7 summit visit.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Vince Vitrano. New Wisconsin ties to the attacks on Minnesota lawmakers.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Trouble on westbound 94. Right about at Mitchell Boulevard, we got the left lane blocked with a crash. That's pretty much solid all the way back into the Marquette, so keep that in mind. We've also got a crash on northbound 43 right in the Marquette interchange off on the left shoulder. Still dealing with the crash on 43 southbound right about at Good Hope Road off on the left shoulder behind the barrels. And one on northbound 894 at Oklahoma Avenue off on the right shoulder there. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy and warm today. Humid as well. We got storms this evening, a high of 87. Tonight, the storms will wrap up early on, a low of 65. Right now, 75 at 8:02. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, President Trump is back at the White House this morning after cutting short his trip to the G7 World Leaders Summit in Canada.
President Trump told reporters on Air Force One he returned to Washington because he would be, quote, more well-versed, meeting in person with his national security team to talk about the situation between Israel and Iran.
Being on the scene is much better, and we did everything I had to do on the G7. We had a good G7.
The president signaled frustration at the status of nuclear talks with Iran, saying they should have made a deal. He again issued a warning if Iran were to target U.S. assets or personnel in the region.
Well, we'll come down so hard if they do anything to our people.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, attacks between Israel and Iran continuing. ABC's Ian Pennell is in Tel Aviv.
President Trump posting everyone should immediately evacuate. And Israel warning thousands of Iranians to leave their homes as it widens its bombing campaign, targeting Iranian state TV live on the air. The anchor running for cover. Smoke and debris filling the studio. The building up in flames. The Israeli military claiming the station is at the heart of the regime's communications, saying residents were told to evacuate the area.
Additionally, in Gaza, almost 70 people were killed trying to get food and aid this morning.
As a timeline emerges in Saturday's armed assault on two Minnesota state lawmakers, investigators believe that murder suspect Vance Bolter had compiled an enemies list of dozens and was intent on killing everybody on it.
This is Jim Ryan. Beyond Vance Bolter's alleged hit list of 45 targets, investigators have found notebooks naming politicians from Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, even Texas. Back in Minnesota, State Representative Samantha Vang says,
I definitely feel very vulnerable, especially knowing that my name was part of that list.
Bolter faces state and federal charges related to the murders of State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband and the wounding of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Another Wisconsin connection from the Minnesota lawmaker shooting suspect.
Property records show Vance Belter owned a building in Brillion for 4 years. According to our news partners at NBC 26, he purchased a building on Water Street under the name of his business Revo Formation Ministries, Inc. in November 2007. He bought it from Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church, which had previously operated its school there. Church officials say he didn't appear to do much at the building, only clean it out a bit before selling it to High Tech Electrical Services, Inc. in 2012. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has called for tighter security ahead of a planned floor session at the Wisconsin State Capitol tomorrow.
A deadly shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee.
The 29-year-old was shot near Vliet and King just before midnight.
Oh my God, y'all. It was a girl.
Video by a neighbor captured the shooting, which appeared to be the result of an argument between multiple people in the street.
They really just shot her. And they put the bag over her, so she died.
No one is in custody, but police are seeking a known suspect. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A dairy farmer from northeast Wisconsin sues the Trump administration for discrimination.
The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty is representing Adam Faust, a white dairy farmer suing the USDA. Faust is claiming certain loan programs unfairly prioritize sex and race, saying that he's charged a $100 fee that minority and female farmers don't have to pay. Now, 6 Republicans are urging the USDA to end what they call discriminatory practices. Faust was among several farmers who successfully sued the Biden administration in 2021 for race discrimination in the USDA's Farmer Loan Forgiveness Plan. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Coming up, a teenager aims for glory in an unlikely sport.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 8:06.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
It's happened again. Another local organization switching to business technology from James Imaging Systems. This time, it's St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care. CFO Sally Parente.
We were unhappy with our previous vendor. It was always a big production. We also had some issues with pricing.
And now with James Imaging Systems,
the service, the value, and the ease with which we can just keep using their service and not having any big headaches. We're getting value here as well.
Just what you'd expect from James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed company. AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation.
I love that they're a local company. They've been a wonderful business partner for St. Anne Center.
Make the switch to James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hi, I'm Erik Brown, owner of Outdoor Living Unlimited. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. We install anything decks and more. Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 8:08.
Purdue Pharma and its owners, the Sackler family, have reached a $7 billion settlement to end thousands of lawsuits against the drug maker over highly addictive opioids. News Nation's Marky Martin has more.
Settlement funds will be rolled out over the next 15 years, most of them dispersed in the first 3 years, across communities hit hardest by the opioid epidemic. The Sacklers will pay $6.5 billion from their personal fortune, and Purdue Pharma will pay roughly $900 million.
So as part of the settlement, the Sackler family will give up ownership of Purdue Pharma. Doesn't shield the family from future civil lawsuits.
The doctor who supplied actor Matthew Perry with ketamine will plead guilty.
Federal prosecutors say Dr. Salvador Plasencia repeatedly injected Perry with ketamine and taught Perry's assistant how to do it. Perry was prescribed legal amounts of ketamine to treat his depression, but wanted more of it. In text messages with another doctor, Plasencia allegedly called Perry a moron and wondered how much he would be willing to pay for the drugs. Perry was found dead in his hot tub in October 2023. Plasencia will plead guilty to 4 counts of distributing ketamine. He could face up to 40 years in prison. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
He's being called a phenomenon. A British teenager has become one of the few foreigners ever to be offered a place at a Japanese training academy for the ancient sport of sumo wrestling.
The 2,000-year-old sport of sumo wrestling.
It's just been stereotyped as 2 big fat guys in their underwear belly bouncing each other, basically, which is crazy. It's so intricate.
British sumo president Scott Finley's been training 15-year-old Nicholas Tarasenko, who only took up the sport 2 years ago when his Estonian-born father entered him in a sumo contest there, and he won.
It's an amazing opportunity.
Nicholas says he's ready for the move.
I've been given a chance and I intend to go as hard as possible.
Only 75 sumo wrestlers have reached its highest rank in 2,000 years. Findlay says Nicholas just might be number 76. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Interesting. I just know they eat a lot and right before bed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That seems unhealthy.
Well, right. And it's like sort of like, well, they say, oh, it's calories in, calories out. Nuh-uh. It's calories late at night.
And then they're in. 8:10.
I guess one of the biggest sacrifices that I think we made starting Penny Mustard was personal time.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Yeah, we just lived, ate, and breathed work all the time for years. Yep. And that's hard, especially when you're in your younger 20s. Yeah. That's when you're supposed to be partying. I do remember, I think I was 31 before I actually stayed out till midnight on New Year's Eve because I didn't have to be at a store the next day. I was 31 years old already. That was like a milestone in my life. That's impressive. And embarrassing. Well, probably.
PennyMustard.com.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scavini from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe, and I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Debbie Laska, it's been kind of a day for you.
It's been a little bit busy, so please, extra caution out there, please. We got delays with an accident on westbound 94 at Mitchell Boulevard. The left lane is blocked, stretching all the way back past 27th Street with those delays. We've also got an accident on southbound 43, just getting wrapped up just south of Good Hope Road. It is off on the left shoulder behind the barrels. Delays stretching almost all the way back to about, north of Good Hope Road for sure. We got delays just south of Brown Deer. We've also got an issue on southbound 41, a broken down vehicle. Actually, that one just got cleared. There you go. Southbound 41 is going to be delayed, though, from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive northbound, slowing just before Mayfair Road up to about Hampton. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your forecast is sponsored by Big Fish Contracting. Visit bigfishcontracting.com to see how they're renovating homes and redeeming an industry. It's going to be warm and humid today, and it looks like we could have an evening storm, so a high of 87. Tonight, scattered storms early on, then humid, a low of 65. Wednesday, cloudy. There's a chance for some heavy rain tomorrow, high of 73. Thursday, slight chance for rain, high of 80. Friday, slight chance for rain, high of 83. Saturday, heat index could get into the 90s. Right now at 8:14, it's 75 degrees.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, this is Wisconsin's Morning News. Here's your host, Erik Bilstad.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. Erik here along with Amy Taylor. Amy's in for Vince today. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Thanks for coming in.
No, thanks for inviting me. It's nice.
Ballrooms are out.
Yeah. Well, for what occasion?
Well, for one in particular, as we live in this, post-COVID era, as more and more people are, tightening their belts or at least paying attention to the money they're spending, maybe?
I saw that consumer spending was down from April to May. I mean, it seems like people are maybe feeling like, I want to cut back a little.
Right? Micro weddings are in. And you could argue they might be a little bit smarter, too, according to Axios.
This word micro wedding,
you don't like that word?
It's just funny.
So micro in this...
define it.
Smaller. Some
but
couples,
how small? Smaller. Just smaller.
Some couples are skipping big weddings to save money, and they're throwing a more intimate gathering, like in some cases, very small. The average guest count nationwide for a wedding, so back in 2006, so like 10 years ago, it was like 184. That was average.
That seems big.
That's a pretty decent-sized wedding.
Yeah.
That's been cut now down to 130. So a significant drop, right? According to the wedding report.
I kind of do recall, we married in 2000, and I remember a lot of friends were getting married then, and they would say 200. They were having like 200, and I wanted smaller.
Smaller celebrations with 50 guests or fewer made up nearly 20% of nuptials last year.
Yeah.
So you're a small person. I would have guessed you to want a big, giant gala.
I think we had like 130
with like
people.
Kings invited.
Yeah, right. Because I'm like royalty. Where is
here.
this coming from? I'm just a commoner. Ours was pretty small.
Okay.
I mean, 130 some, yeah.
So we're hearing that courthouse ceremonies and parties in cozy restaurants or backyards are letting couples spend more time with loved ones. So this is the downsizing that we're seeing. Now, Pancake, I don't know if you know this, Amy, but Greg is a licensed officiant. So,
is that true?
Yeah, he's got a card.
Oh, yeah, I got one coming up in July. A wedding coming up.
Now, would you argue that the most of the ones that you have done where you haven't known the person have been smaller weddings, backyard type weddings?
Yeah, if I don't know the person, they're typically smaller stuff. So yeah, I've done backyard weddings. I've done maybe 50 people outside of a resort, real easy like that.
What do you have to do to become an officiant?
Oh, I don't give up my secrets. I don't want to give up the market.
I'm getting worried.
You go online. That's it. You go online.
But clearly, obviously, if Greg is doing that, then there is some legitimacy to that,
there's
where
a
people are
market
going
for sure.
a smaller. Downsizing can also limit stress.
Oh, amen.
It can free up cash that you can
Big
use
time.
on other things.
That's the most compelling reason, I think. I mean,
Save it for like a house or something?
Yeah, the intimacy, but then why? I always wonder why people blow that much dough on one day. You know, even if you can.
Society has told us this.
Right? And we've all gone for it.
So it says here, Vegas-style chapels and businesses offering curated micro weddings and elopements have opened in different cities, like Boston, Dallas, Portland. So they want to help you do this. They want to help you with your elopement.
And have it
Even though
be
that was a
small.
word. Yes.
So eloping is a bigger thing too, huh?
Yeah, just to get it done.
Yeah.
While certain people just like low-key events, most go smaller to just spend less money, according to the wedding report. Like, that's the main reason why you're going to do that. So cutting the guest list is the best way to do that. Also, the prices of meals goes down. Venues can go down in price when you have a smaller list. Invitations.
I also think maybe like the turn away from churches that we've seen too. You know, we know that people don't attend in the numbers they used to.
That's true.
That's a lot of community comes from that. You know, maybe just a smaller numbers then.
Well, think about how much money you're saving. According, again, to this wedding report guy, pros estimate micro weddings can cost 50% less or more than traditional ones. So you're spending 50% less or maybe even more than 50% less?
I smell a down payment on a house, right? Like, seriously.
I think if you're being smart as a bride or a groom, you should just charge the guest.
Oh,
and then you're fine.
Not this again.
I'm teasing you. All right, so many brides and grooms to be are bracing for pricier nuptials as tariffs stand to hike up some of these costs. So they have that issue as well. They're seeing some of the other aspects of it going up. Those worrying about their jobs or finances may delay celebrations altogether. What we're watching intimate doesn't mean boring. City Hall ceremonies have begun full-blown aesthetic. So even those getting married in City Hall are also still trying to make it a thing, like maybe bringing a photographer anyway and doing City Hall elopements.
City Hall Instagram.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Pinterest searches for terms like City Hall elopement or courthouse wedding dress ideas.
Does this happen every time
surging.
the economy starts to go, what's going to happen?
You know what? Gen Zers are a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the same desire to have giant. I mean, that's a societal thing too, right? Like hasn't
I
our
think so. I
culture
mean,
changed a
I'm
little
thinking
bit?
about friends that just had a huge wedding.
They did? Okay.
Oh my God, like 350 people.
Holy cow. All
Right? And I think, at that point they could and they did and they were entertaining people, that was part of it too. And sort of like, hey, it's also a way to, say thank you to all your friends.
Well, is it better to invite too many people, or is that too stressful, or is it easier just to pick like from a smaller group and know that someone's going to be left on the cutting room floor? Would you rather invite over the top and have all these people you don't even know there, or would you rather
not myself.
Greg be upset at you because you didn't invite him?
I just feel like I want to know the people there, but as you so astutely commented, who are these people can often be the question when you're looking at the wedding photos 20 years later.
I guarantee you that
there
happens.
are people that you're not in touch with anymore,
Well, I'm curious to see if this continues. I would imagine that you'll see these numbers go down even more because I do think there's something there. Plus, by the way, it all costs money.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't have as much, they're not going to rent out that giant ballroom. They're just going to get something smaller and then go on a trip.
So what's the average cost of a plate now? Is it $100 a plate, or is that just outrageously expensive? Is it $50? I really don't know. I haven't thought about it forever.
I would guess that it'd be closer to 50 than 100.
Yeah, for
that's
an average.
Just given what we just looked at, would make me think that.
And then the whole, do you spend what your dinner costs on the gifts?
Well, I mean,
it's like a lot of money trading
right?
hands.
You're basically just shifting money. Like, hey, okay, so here's money for the dinner we just had.
Right.
Thanks. Right. And a little something extra for yourself, maybe.
Exactly.
Okay, here's a toaster. All right. 8:21. So Debbie's ahead of the curve on this. Debbie, you got married at the courtroom, didn't you? At the courthouse? Oh,
no.
Why did I think you got married in the courthouse?
I don't know, man.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought that.
Did church wedding and then and packed in 250 people into
Holy
a reception area that only really had 200 space for 200.
But it was on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was like every RSVP coming in, we're like, please say no, please say no, please say no. Oh, no. Why do people like us so much? Yes.
I love it. So the exact opposite is what
Yeah,
happened.
pretty
Okay,
much.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
So, anywho.
How are the roads?
Well, we got southbound on 43. The accident behind the barrels at Good Hope Road has been cleared. Delays are still there, though, all the way down past Bender Road. Northbound is backing up a bit right along the North Avenue curve up towards Keefe, so heads up with that. Northbound 43 in the Marquette. We also still have this one up on the board here. This is off on the left shoulder, right in the Marquette. So just be extra careful. We do have a little bit of a backup coming over the high-rise bridge into the Marquette. And then on 894 southbound, we had this accident at about Oklahoma Avenue. It is off on the right shoulder. Luckily, everybody seems to be getting past it, since I'm not really seeing too many delays with that. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Gaydish Foundation and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Yet at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Don't miss the largest vacation sale in the nation coming this July. It's Fox World Travel's exclusive July sale with Apple Vacations and Celebrity Cruises. July is the best time of the year for unbeatable deals you won't get anywhere else. Get the hottest cruise deals or plan ahead for 2026 all-inclusive resorts paired with nonstop flights. Let Fox World Travel book your vacation and secure your reservation with just a deposit. Visit foxworldtravel.com/July and get on the exclusive list. Sale starts soon.
Summer is finally here. We're outside and maybe noticing the condition of our old windows. Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors, your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient replacement windows. Boost your curb appeal with top brands like Pella, Anderson, and Marvin, tailored to fit your home, your style, and your budget. Plus, installation by employee carpenters. Wood, vinyl, fiberglass, all on display in their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Summerfest is almost here. The music, the food, all the things that make Summerfest great.
And we are going to send you to all 9 days.
Keep it tuned to WTMJ for your chance to win tickets to every single day of Summerfest. We'll have your opportunity on Wisconsin's Morning News. Go to Summerfest on us.
Happy Summerfest from all of us here on WTMJ.
Traffic is sponsored by Rejuvenix Arthritis Pain Clinics. Go to rejuvenix.com for an appointment.
Go to rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
Erik along with Amy Taylor on Wisconsin's Morning News. Amy in for Vince today. It's the stuff of horror movies, says the prosecutor out of Minnesota. Authorities say the man who allegedly killed a Democratic lawmaker and wounded a state senator also targeted several other officials. Vance Belter now in custody, facing murder and stalking charges. That's on top of the state charges of murder and attempted murder as well.
Started at Senator John Hoffman's home.
When Senator Hoffman attempted to push Belter out and stop him from entering his home, Belter shot him repeatedly.
The couple was seriously wounded. After fleeing, surveillance video appears to show Belter ringing the doorbell of another lawmaker's home, but they weren't there. At a third politician's house, the suspect was approached by a police officer doing a safety check on the representative. Belter allegedly stayed in his car, disguised as a police vehicle, and left before backup arrived. Shortly after, the suspect made his fourth stop at Representative Melissa Hortman's home in Brooklyn Park.
And that's where the deadly shooting took place. So now is in custody, this guy. And from what we can tell, there's at least, we were told, Journal Sentinel had 11 names from Wisconsin on there. We do know of a few of them, like the Congressman Pocan, Congresswoman Moore, and the Senator Tammy Baldwin were on that list.
Is there a reason we don't know all the names? Why they haven't all been disclosed?
Well, I mean, there was some discussion as to whether or not that's a necessary releasement at one point, given safety purposes. But moving forward, like we would imagine, all of those names will come out at some point as we continue to learn more about this just tragic story out of Minnesota. Headlines next.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. If you've saved in a 401k or IRA, you might think you're set for retirement. But here's something you need to know. Every dollar you withdraw could be taxed. And with rising government debt, future tax hikes could take an even bigger bite out of your savings. Imagine reaching retirement only to realize the IRS is taking more of your money than you expected. It's one of the biggest risks that retirees face, spending their savings without a plan for taxes. And once you're retired, it's often too late to fix it. That's why I want to help you create a tax strategy now so you can keep more of your hard-earned money. At Drake & Associates, we focus on tax-efficient retirement planning, helping you lower your lifetime tax bill and maximize your retirement income. And right now, I'm offering you a free retirement toolkit, plus a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to show you how to keep more of your money working for you, not the IRS. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 to claim your free copies. Don't wait until tax rates rise. Start planning today. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping you keep more of what you've earned.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Less spending. Retail sales fell sharply last month after a spike in March, says the Commerce Department. Analysts say consumers are trying to get ahead of President Trump's tariffs. The decline was driven by a drop in car sales. President Trump's back in Washington because of the Iran-Israel attacks, suddenly leaving the G7 summit in Canada. The president says he's aiming for a permanent end to the fighting. ABC's Ian Pannell in Tel Aviv.
Missiles between Israel and Iran exchanged, more air raid sirens, more attacks overnight here and again this morning. President Trump appearing to row back his remarks, saying he isn't warning people inside Iran. He wants them to be safe, but anything's possible.
The number of deaths from weekend flooding in West Virginia has gone up to at least 7, says the governor. A federal judge orders the Trump administration to restore hundreds of research grants cut by the National Institutes of Health. The judge calls the cancellations arbitrary and illegal. This is ABC News.
Well, you got southbound 41 still backing up from Appleton Avenue all the way down to Capitol Drive. The northbound side slowing down right past Mayfair Road up towards Hampton. Southbound 43 still backing up from just south of Brown Deer Road all the way down towards Silver Spring. Back on the brakes just a bit from Keefe down to, I would say, Burleigh. Northbound is low from just north of Fond du Lac Avenue up towards Keefe. And then we do still have this other accident on 894 northbound right at the ramp from Oklahoma Avenue off on the right shoulder. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy, warm, and humid today with some storms this evening, a high of 87. Tonight, scattered storms early, still humid, a low of 65. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a woman dead following a shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee. It's happened near Volite in King around midnight. The victim, 29 years old. As of now, no one is in custody, but police tell us this morning that they are searching for someone. They know who they're looking for.
A dairy farmer from northeast Wisconsin sues the Trump administration for discrimination. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed the suit on behalf of Adam Faust of Chilton. The allegation that the federal government is illegally denying financial assistance to white farmers in favor of continuing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. 6 Wisconsin Republicans are calling on the USDA to investigate ending the policies.
Streetcar service remains delayed in Milwaukee after a crash Monday. An SUV hit a streetcar near Milwaukee and Wells Street. 6 passengers on board, no one seriously hurt. It comes after 2 of the Hop's 5 streetcars were already out of service, and just as the Hop has started operating its combined festivals line.
Viewed as the Oscars of the culinary industry, the James Beard Awards recognized a bar in downtown Milwaukee.
Agency, a hybrid cocktail lounge located in the Double Dutch Hotel, was a finalist in the Best New Bar category. A bar in Puerto Rico took home the top prize as the winners were announced Monday in Chicago. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports Agency was the only local name to advance in the finalist round of this year's competition. Other Milwaukee area businesses received semifinalist nods, including 6 Milwaukee chefs and Bryant's Cocktail Lounge, which was up for the National Outstanding Bar Award. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
A mining company is about to drill for gold and copper in Wisconsin.
Greenlight Metals is the group behind the project. The targeted land is an area near Medford in north central Wisconsin. Steve Donahue is on the board of directors.
We've got a team of geologists who have been looking at this historic drilling that was done from the 60s up through the mid-1990s, and we've targeted a number of assets.
Crews moved the equipment into place on Monday. Drilling starts this week.
The primary focus is these critical metals and potentially rare earth elements such as tellurium. And you might ask, well, what is tellurium used for? Can't manufacture a solar panel without tellurium.
Jessica Ty, WTMJ News.
Polish Fest out, Summerfest in. The big gig begins Thursday, and event crews are working tirelessly to ready the grounds.
We're hanging video, we're hanging lights. Very, very quickly, you'll hear the stages start to come alive. So we couldn't be more excited.
Sarah Pancari is the president and CEO of Milwaukee World Festival. New this year, the Lasso Lounge, a nod to a Nashville-inspired country bar.
We've got line dancing, we've got live music, we've got DJs, we've got, of course, a mechanical bull.
And collectively, over 600 stage acts, including Def Leppard on night 1. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Summerfest kicks off its first weekend Thursday at noon.
News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. Everything starting off in the red. Investors a bit spooked over what's going on overseas. The Dow is down 125. The NASDAQ starting off 80. The S&P is down 21. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Tyson's Home Farm Auto is coming to Ripon, and they'd love to have you on their team. Join them for open interviews on Tuesday, June 24th from 9 to 7 and Wednesday, June 25th from 9 to 5 at the Ripon Public Library, or apply online at theisens.com/careers.
Traffic is sponsored by the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
Enjoy the new all-you-can-eat Saturday breakfast buffet from 8 a.m. till noon for under $10 at the Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford. Just walk on in. It's big food, it's big fun, it's the Mineshaft.
For those with a warm weather fashion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
I can save you at least $2,000. Vince Vitrano here for my team at USA Insulation, where Jeff is offering a minimum savings of $2,000 on your insulation project of $5,000 or more. These are the folks with the proprietary injection foam, filling your walls from bottom to top, where you lose up to 85% of your summer cooling. Find out how much Jeff can save you. Book your free in-home consultation today at usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Big news from Kraft Heinz. Kraft Heinz announcing it will remove all chemical dyes from its food products. The maker of ketchup, Heinz ketchup, Kraft macaroni, cheese, Jell-O, Kool-Aid, says it's going to eliminate all artificial colors, including red number 40 and blue number 1 by the end of 2027.
Do you have that audio of RFK talking about it?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
While you're thinking about it, finding it, all I can think of is how weird everything's going to look.
So we wondered about that. Here's what so basically RFK was talking about the petroleum-based dyes here.
2027. In April, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he wanted petroleum-based dyes removed from all food by the end of next year. He believes they lead to chronic disease.
If they want to eat petroleum, they ought to add it themselves at home. But they shouldn't be feeding it to the rest of us.
I mean, hey, that seems like a novel idea.
You can add the petroleum at your house.
Why Heinz? Why is Heinz doing this and other manufacturers haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet?
Well, maybe that time is coming. Maybe they saw...
they can read the tea leaves.
Right. Consumers could perceive products as healthier, but also maybe less drawn to duller colors. That's what one...
Well, what color is ketchup going to be?
Well, that's just it. Would it be that dramatically different? Are we talking about like a gray ketchup?
Well, okay, that's a good point.
Would you eat
I would not eat gray ketchup. I just couldn't. But I do think, like, when you make homemade sauce, like spaghetti sauce, do you ever make... I really don't make it completely from scratch.
I usually... For me, neither, but we have.
Right. So, you're using tomatoes and tomato paste, which is right. Those are really red.
Yeah, oddly red, yeah.
Right. So why wouldn't it be that red? I mean, I really feel like I could do a deep dive on this.
Well, I mean,
cannot eat gray ketchup.
My guess would be that obviously, like for anything, to give it shelf life,
right?
It gets
the preservatives, right? Because it's going to lose its vibrancy, maybe. Because I mean, that's one of the most famous reds in the world, Heinz red. It's like a car color. There was like a Mercedes that comes in Heinz red.
Besides the previously, of course, you know everything about Mercedes.
I knew you were gonna jab me about that. Dang right, I do. Just get on me for my Mercedes
the
knowledge.
Previously banned red number 3, other dyes that will be eliminated include red dye 40, red dye 5, 6, 1, blue dye 2.
Wow, interesting. I mean, this is like a whole.
They want to get rid of these
shebang.
artificial dyes. Yep, removing the artificial dyes during a meeting in March. They discussed this, and that included Kraft, PepsiCo, General Mills, Kellogg's, and others.
This kind of reminds me of the same time I made homemade mac and cheese, and I was like, why is it so white? I thought there must be some mistake.
I am curious to see how that plays, though. If it's enough to make a difference, or if maybe purists like us would notice just because we've been around if you've had it for so long, but...
Right, but does it definitely affects the appeal of the item, I think, right?
The color?
Yeah. Definitely. Appetizing. So will there be a choice? Can we still get our old dyed up stuff?
Ooh, good question. No, I don't get that impression.
Oh, you think they're just doing away with it?
Yeah, I don't get the impression you can choose between red dye included or red dye-less.
Simply Heinz. No red dye.
It is 8:42. Got to get to Debbie Lazaga. And we also have Brewers 360 coming up, Debbie. Pat Murphy joins us on the program.
The skipper.
Yes.
Awesome.
In mere moments.
Okay, southbound on 41, backing up from just before Appleton Avenue all the way down to Capitol Drive. Northbound is slowing down from just north of Mayfair Road all the way up past Capitol, almost to Hampton. We've got southbound 43 backing up from just south of Brown Deer Road all the way down past Silver Spring. And then from Keefe down to Burleigh, just a little spot there. Northbound on 43 backing up right around the North Avenue curve up towards Keefe. And then eastbound 94, watch for backups from 84th Street all the way to about 35th. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scavidi for QC Kinetics. Big focus in America today on your health, and you're determined to look beyond pills and steroids and surgery to feel your best, right? I want to talk to the person who's in pain right now, or maybe it's someone you love. I've got chronic elbow pain. Maybe someone you love is dealing with that issue. You've done everything they told you to do. The pain just comes back. You're exhausted, but you don't give up. You want to meet someone who can fix that for you? Let's meet with Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team. They'll explain how their regenerative treatments take your body's own healing power and help restore your damaged tissue. These are well-respected protocols that include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments. QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics has helped tens of thousands of people, so many of them right here in Milwaukee. No masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Find out if you're a good candidate. The consultation is free. Just call QC Kinetics at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
CertaPro Painters, the best in the business. WTMJ's John Mercure here. My wife and I were shocked at how thoughtful they are, how amazing they are, how they moved things that needed to be moved and got their jobs done fast and efficiently. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Slots are filling up fast. Now's the time for your home or your business. Get on their schedule. They will transform your house. It'll be the best-looking house in the neighborhood. The teams I trust are at CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Manager of our Milwaukee Brewers, Pat Murphy.
It's always nice to be home. It's the greatest ballpark for me. It's the greatest ballpark in baseball, and the fans are just incredible. Win, lose, or draw, that's really a special thing. I mean, we've got a special thing going on.
This is Brewers 360.
Brewers 360, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting. Joining us on Wisconsin's Morning News is the manager of your Milwaukee Brewers, Pat Murphy. Hey, Skip.
How you doing?
Excellent. So when it starts to get hot like this, with the humidity starting to ramp up a little bit, here in Milwaukee anyway, we're going to see a heat index of 95 this weekend. What does that do to the ball and to the pitches? Like, does that flatten things? Does it change anything? How does the game change when it starts to really get hot and humid?
I think that humid's one thing, but when it gets warmer, the ball travels a little better. I don't know the physics of it all, but it seems like when things are warmer, the ball travels better.
How about the players?
Like
Yeah, how do the players like it?
Yeah.
Do they travel?
They do. They like it. Yeah, no. I mean, when it's super hot day game, it'll get to you. You're in Cincinnati and it's 97 with a lot of humidity in a 12 o'clock Sunday game. It can get something, but by and large,
famously humid there. Yeah.
Yeah. But sure enough, it's players love being warm rather than cold during baseball games for sure.
Was curious about that. I wondered if maybe if you have some that you're wondering where they are and they're standing in the hallway to the clubhouse where the air conditioning is on or something like that.
Well, they do a lot to accommodate. There's a lot done to accommodate the players at that time, whether there's ice towels or ammonia towels or whatever. There's a lot to keep them cool, fans, misters in the dugout. There's all sorts of things.
So opening night of The Miz, that's what we call it, when Jacob Mizorowski pitched last week. Obviously, it was an exciting time. It almost seemed like a playoff atmosphere seeing him pitch for the first time. Now that it's been a few days and he's been with the club, how's he doing? How's he feeling? Do you keep an eye on a rookie like that who comes in mid-season and make sure that they stay in some type of process?
For sure. Every move he makes is monitored pretty much. The training staff and we call it high performance staff, strength and conditioning, nutrition, all of it's being done. There's a lot coming at the kid. There's a lot coming at him, but there's a lot of people around to keep him on track. Teammates, I think, are the biggest influence, and they keep him grounded. And so he doesn't get too much into the hype. But it was such a beautiful start. You're obviously concerned about the second start just because, was he able to get his feet on the ground, or is it like he's on roller skates? He's not quite solid yet because of the newness of everything and all that's coming at him now. You just hope he can get grounded very quickly.
Who does he remind you of with his height? Is there with his length and with his height? Does he remind you of any other pitcher you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, you think about Roger McDowell. Who was I thinking of? McDowell, Jack McDowell.
Oh yeah,
from Stanford way back when. You think of that a little bit, but he's pretty unique, great kid, and cares about all the right stuff, and it's fun to watch.
So we were talking about the 42% number. Are you familiar with this?
So, okay. I don't know.
No.
Oh, well, okay. I'll give it to him.
You're trying to do this regular life thing to me again, right?
No.
You know I know nothing about regular life.
I know nothing about what you do either.
So no, what Amy is referring to is that Baseball Reference was cited in the paper today, and it says the odds of the Brewers making the postseason is at 42.9%.
42 is a great number. Jackie Robinson, you know what I mean?
I like
that's a good
that.
number.
See, don't you think you have to have that kind of right? Who cares? Is that what your attitude is?
You know, I grew up betting the horses with my dad. My dad
Me
loved
too.
to bet the horses. And you just know what you know. You can bet the chalk if you want to bet the chalk, and oftentimes the prediction's decent, but 42% would be a horse that's probably 8-1. I like that.
Those are
That's
good
fine.
odds.
That pays. Yeah, that pays. What does that pay? 8-1 will pay $18.40. For a $2 bet.
I like that.
Not that I'm a betting man. But you put that with the Exacta or Quinella.
Right. Things are looking good.
Nice little payoff.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? So.
I used to work. I worked at a track in Des Moines, Iowa, Prairie Meadows, it was called, and oftentimes, Coach, I got to sit on sometimes I didn't always get there, but oftentimes they'd put me on the finish line. I'd have the video camera right there in the finish line, and that's where the real gamblers stood. They sat right there on the finish line. Rocky was one of them, and they would tell me all of their tricks, but they never seemed to win.
Well. It's definitely gambling's a disease, so there's no chance. There's no chance you're going to come on top of that one. But
so is baseball.
The sport of kings. The sport of kings is second only to baseball.
Well, go get them. Great big series against the first place Cubs in Chicago starting tonight. Go get them, Skip.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, guys.
Best
nice
of luck. Best of luck.
Pat Murphy of your Milwaukee Brewers on Brewers 360.
Come see what's brewing.
All right, Debbie, let's go.
Okay, southbound on 41, backing up still. Appleton Avenue down to Capitol Drive, northbound from Mayfair up past Capitol Drive. So keep that in mind through that construction zone. We got eastbound 94 backing up from about 84th Street all the way through to 35th. Westbound's eased up nicely. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes through the stadium interchange, but overall looking pretty good. We've also got northbound 43 backing up a bit from just before the North Avenue curve up towards Keith. Southbound's backing up from pretty pretty much halfway point between Brown Deer Road and Good Hope, all the way down to Hampton. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Gaydish Foundation and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Yet at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. Early bird discount extended until June 30th. Tickets at eaa.org/tickets. An unforgettable week, July 21st through the 27th. All the only in Oshkosh moments. A week full of endless possibilities. Daily air shows, world-class performers, historic aircraft displays, hands-on activities for all ages. 18 and under get in free thanks in part to the Boeing Company. Don't wait. Lock in with the early bird pricing extension today at eaa.org/tickets.
I'm Jim Token, president of the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. Nobody can keep your car running smoothly like an Adam new car dealer. Adam service technicians are factory trained and use original factory parts backed by a warranty. Best of all, you'll find competitive pricing equal to or even lower than independent shops. A well-maintained car delivers maximum gas mileage and saves you money. Call an Adam dealer today because you're always better off at an Adam new car dealer.
Get an oil change and safety inspection today.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hey, an update on a huge fundraiser that our pal John Mercure was a part of on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. You may recall last fall, WTMJ listeners donated more than $80,000 to repair the Bayview Medal of Honor recipient Lance Sijon's plane at the Milwaukee airport. So this is the plane. You see that when you're coming into the airport. Lance Sijon, Medal of Honor recipient who died while serving his country. And last year, it was amazing.
I thought it was so cool. It was. I had never experienced anything like a pillar radio station like this doing something like. It was a really cool thing to do.
So cool how quickly it came together, raising so much money just to restore the memorial there, to make it pop again. You know, it had gotten weathered.
And it was becoming difficult for them to care for.
Right? Yep, it was faded. And now it's getting this brand new paint job, and Andy and Luli Bishop are the ones doing it.
From day one, when Janine called me, it was like boom, 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 boom. Everything just fell into place. It's like, man, that doesn't normally happen. I mean, I've seen it take a year and a half, 2 years to get stuff. Oh, yeah, easily 2 years. When people start and talk to us, I'm like, all right, well, let me know when it gets closer, and it can take that long. But, man, it was bang, bang, bang. So I knew we were going to be getting here pretty quickly.
So that was Andy talking to WTMJ's John Mercure, where he said he was talking about Lance Sijon's sister calling him saying, hey, can you do this job? And first off, he says the plane, it's pretty nice.
Beautiful memorial. I mean, well-built pole. We see them all over the country. We go everywhere. This is one of the nicest ones I've seen. I mean, absolutely one of the nicest F4s by far. And we do a lot of museum work. We've been in many museums where they have some pretty nice stuff. But this is first class, very nicely done, and really happy to be a part of getting it looking good again.
So he's working this process right now and painting through this plane. That takes some work.
We'll pressure wash the whole airplane, every nook and cranny. That's probably a 2-day job just because it's so hard to get at everything. And then after that, we start painting.
And then they get to the job. So Lance Sijon, you may recall again, from the area, died as a POW, was shot down and was tortured, and many years later was given this, became the recipient posthumously of a Medal of Honor. And
I mean, this is somebody who was crawling through the jungle in Vietnam. I mean, this was the most hardship a person can face. Right?
So Andy and Luli they do this type of thing. They paint these types of memorials, and Luli told John that's why they're doing
His father was a pilot and had crashed as well in World War II, yeah. In World War II, his father was laid up for 18 months. So it's a soft spot for us.
And that's so we have a soft spot. Yeah, because
so very dear.
It's incredible. That's amazing. So they're out there. They're going to paint this thing. There's going to be some type of ceremony at some point. I know John is sharing that every day when he's got some updates on the situation. But it's just so cool. You have this couple coming from Florida to leave their mark and doing it because it means so much to them to do something for our veterans.
I mean, we get to do this because of what he did, what other people, we're true patriots. The patriots are the ones that let us do. And people are always thanking us for doing this. I'm like, man, I don't need to be I mean, this is something that we all should be doing. I mean, just to appreciate what they've done.
Much more on the Lance Sijon Memorial throughout the next several weeks on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It's 8:58. This portion of the show is sponsored by Horicon Bank. Together, doing good. HoriconBank.com, the natural choice.
Doing banking differently since 1896. Greg Matzik here for Horicon Bank. Think about that for a second. Over 100 years of focus on the community and your business. At Horicon Bank, financing requests can be approved in days, not weeks, because your banker understands you and your business. And yes, Horicon Bank is expanding, but they've not lost that community-minded feel. I trust Horicon Bank. I've connected with Horicon Bank, and I invite you to do the same. It's Horicon Bank, truly the natural choice, member FDIC.
Fleet Farm is the place to stock up on supplies for all your furry and feathered friends. Get a 40-pound bag of Sprout Mixed Bits cat food for just $25.99. Save $5 on all bags of Nutrisource dry dog food. And for you backyard birders, 20 pounds of KT Basic Blend bird food is now only $11.99. Count on your local Fleet Farm for the best prices guaranteed on all your feed, seed, and pet care needs. And find even more weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
It's there all day, and it never goes away. I hate pain. It robs us of so much. But if you take action today, your pain could be gone tomorrow. Because at Rejuvenex, we harness the power of Toradol and hyaluronic acid to calm the inflammation and cushion joints. Rejuvenex treatments are safe, they're FDA approved, and in most cases, insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pays for them. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, our treatments are affordable. It's not a gimmick. It's pharmacological medicine administered in office in a simple and convenient manner. And with it, our patients have been able to avoid risky surgery and begin to stop the onset of arthritis. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and here we've made pain treatment as easy and affordable as it can be.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
This isn't just a rivalry. It's Brewers Cubs. And it's going down tonight in Chicago.
Curveball struck him out swinging.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30.
And Trevor McGill strikes out 3 to secure the series win.
We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
.901, I'm Erik Bilstad. This is Wisconsin's Morning News. Tuesday, June 17th. Our top story, more back and forth in the Middle East.
I'm Amy Taylor in for Vince Vitrano today, calling for increased security at the Wisconsin State Capitol.
Partly cloudy, warm, humid. Could see some evening storms today, a high of 87. Right now it's 79 at 9:01. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, President Trump is at the White House again this morning after cutting short his trip to Canada for the G7 World Leaders Summit. His continuing attacks between Iran and Israel has brought the president back to the White House. Now, Iran firing several waves of missiles overnight. So far, No reports on any deaths. ABC's Jordana Miller's in
All
Jerusalem.
businesses are closed except grocery stores and a few little cafes. All the schools are closed. Everyone's home with their kids. And you're not really allowed to gather or go to a workplace, so there's not a lot of people on the street.
President Trump told reporters on Air Force One that he's not looking for a ceasefire. He's looking for an end to the conflict. He's expected to meet with his National Security Council this morning.
Oil prices are higher as the conflict between Israel and Iran continues. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano tells WTMJ's Point Taken.
The Straits of Hormuz is really, that's the choke point, where about 20 to 25% of the world's oil supply goes through the Straits of Hormuz. And if that is disrupted, that could have systemic supply shock issues.
According to Gas Buddy, prices at the pump are likely to drift higher over the next few weeks, increasing by about 10 to 25 cents per gallon.
In the wake of Saturday's deadly attack on state lawmakers in Minnesota, U.S. senators are receiving a briefing this morning from the Capitol Police about their own security.
A list found in the vehicle of Minnesota murder suspect Vance Bolter included the names of politicians well beyond Minnesota, including Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell.
They called and said the FBI that my name had been on the list.
Some politicians named in the list have canceled public appearances, but Dingell says,
I'm going to keep fighting for the people that I represent.
Against the advice of her staff, she went ahead with a town hall meeting last night in her district. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Senator Tammy Baldwin and Congressman Gwen Moore and Mark Pocan have confirmed their names were either on the list or on other documents found with Belter. Assembly Speaker Robin Voss also calling for enhanced security ahead of a planned floor session at the state capitol tomorrow.
A woman is dead after a shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee.
The 29-year-old was shot near Vliet and King just before midnight.
Oh my God, y'all. It was a girl.
Video by a neighbor captured the shooting, which appeared to be the result of an argument between multiple people in the street.
They really just shot her. And they put the bag over her, so she died.
No one is in custody, but police are seeking a known suspect. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Largest music festival in the world begins Thursday in Milwaukee.
Summerfest features 12 permanent stages, 9 days, and over 600 musical acts, and the occasional last-minute cancellation.
Things are going to happen. Unfortunately, we'd love to present the lineup that we announced.
Milwaukee World Festival President and CEO Sarah Pancari believes Summerfest's ability to be nimble is rooted in the event's history.
We pound the phones pretty quick to make sure we can try to figure out the best way to fill that slot, because we certainly don't want an empty stage. It's our friends in the industry that really help us through those moments.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Last fall, WTMJ listeners donated more than $80,000 to repair Bayview Medal of Honor recipient Lance Syjon's plane at the Milwaukee airport. That work is now underway.
The husband-wife team of Andy and Luli Bishop have arrived from Florida and are sanding and painting Lance Syjon's plane.
This is first class, very nicely done, and really happy to be a part of getting it looking good again.
As they work in the elements, they think about Syjon struggling in the Vietnamese jungle.
This should be pristine, considering Lance Syjon's story.
It tugs at our heart. It's a soft spot for us.
Just happy to be a part of it.
It just makes you feel good.
It's about restoring the legacy of a hero. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
The complete renovation of the Syjon plane should be done in less than 3 weeks.
News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red at the moment. The Dow is down 110. The NASDAQ down 90, and the S&P is down 21. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time, 9:05. WTMJ's Erik Bilstad here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasslis.
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
By trading in that old mattress for a new Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hasslis Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. Plus, next day delivery and haul away of the old mattress for P.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselist.com.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com. June 18th, 2 p.m.
From the WTMJ Sports Desk, from the Gruber Law Offices, one call that's all Sports Desk. The Brewers are in Chicago for their first series with the NL leading Cubs since early May. Rookie pitching phenom Jacob Mizorowski will make his sophomore outing with Milwaukee tomorrow. It's Chad Patrick today. Manager Pat Murphy tells Wisconsin's Morning News, while Miz's debut was certainly a success, the focus now shifts on keeping that young hurler consistent.
You're obviously concerned about the second start just because was he able to get his feet on the ground, or is it like he's on roller skates? He's not quite solid yet because of the newness of everything and all that's coming at him now. You just hope he can get grounded very quickly.
Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock with Brewers warm-up on WTMJ. To the NBA, Oklahoma City now one win away from an NBA championship after their 120-109 win over Indiana in Game 5. WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. Checking the roads here, 94 eastbound, Highway 16 through the zoo and into downtown. For the most part, you're looking good getting in, so no issues there, thankfully. 4145, as you know, we see some typical delays because of the road work. There is a disabled vehicle on the shoulder on northbound 45 right around Silver Spring that may slow things down a bit more there. Elsewhere, 43, same situations north of the Marquette. We have some road work slowing the ride.
Little change in the weather today. Partly cloudy, warm, humid. Evening storms, a high of 87. Tonight, scattered storms early, humid, low 65. And Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Afternoon, heavy rain into the evening, and then more storms, a high of 73. Thursday, partly cloudy, a slight chance of thunderstorms, a high of 80. Friday, partly cloudy, a slight chance of storms, 79 by the lake, 83 degrees inland. But then Saturday, really hot and humid, partly cloudy, a high of 89. The heat index reaching 95 degrees on Saturday.
9:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, this is Wisconsin's Morning News. Here's your host, Erik Bilstad.
Tension in the Middle East. Iran and Israel lobbying back and forth enough to cut short the G7 summit for President Trump, who flew back to the White House early this morning. The president talking to reporters on Air Force One, saying he wants something better than a ceasefire.
And then a real end, not a ceasefire. And then so something that will be permanent. Or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
So what happens now? What can the White House do? How are they involved? Joining us on Wisconsin's Morning News is Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News White House reporter. Good morning, Olivia.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. I imagine the president's got a lot on his plate this morning.
Certainly. He got back to the White House this morning around 5:30 in the morning after a flight from Canada, where he left that G7 early, citing some of the increased tensions we're seeing in the Middle East right now. Of course, there's been rockets fired back and forth between Israel and Iran, and enough of the tension rose to a level that the president said yesterday he needs to get back here to the White House. He said on Air Force One last night that he was planning to be in the Situation Room early this morning. We watched him go into the residence this morning at that time, early when he landed, And we know that they're monitoring the situation very closely. We know that the National Security Council, or what's left of it, has been on standby 24/7 since Israel started this operation. So there's a lot happening, but a lot of it happening behind closed doors, and a lot of questions surrounding the U.S. defensive posture in the Middle East and what the president will do as Israel looks to continue these strikes.
Olivia, has the president indicated his willingness to get the United States involved in this conflict?
You know, he was asked about this last night on Air Force One. He said right now, no, the U.S. will not be involved. The Pentagon has reiterated that posture, that the U.S. is strictly in a defensive posture right now, not in an offensive posture in the Middle East. So as of this moment, there is no plan for the U.S. to join Israel in any of these attacks.
We're curious about the strategy of posting on social media that Tehran should be evacuated, whether or not did Israel know he was doing that? You know, what the motivation there was.
Yeah. He said last night on Air Force One, again, when he was asked about that, he said he just wanted people to be safe. And he said that given where the war is right now between the two countries, it's possible that at any given moment somewhere in Tehran that a bomb could fall. So because of that, he just wanted people to be safe. That's why he said that. But of course, we saw that sparked mass panic in Tehran, a city of over 10 million people, because the question is, where are they going to go? So we saw a lot of exodus from Tehran, people trying to get out of the city, getting gas, prepping themselves for potentially what could happen. But the president says he only said that because he wanted people to be safe. But of course, the timing of a statement like that, he made it on True Social, and then an hour later announced that he would be leaving the G7 early. So there were just a lot of questions yesterday about what does this mean and what is exactly changing in the Middle East enough that would make him return home early. The president also said he's watching very closely Israel's actions over the next 2 days. So giving us a little bit of a timeline here to watch what could potentially unfold, whatever it was that was enough to make him want to leave that meeting of world leaders.
Olivia Rinaldi joins us from CBS News, White House reporter. So as far as the G7 summit goes, any trade deals discussed there? Anything that was agreed upon or at least cemented, or was it just kind of a meet and greet?
Yeah, it seemed like the formal steps were taken between the U.S. and the U.K. on that trade agreement deal, but it's important to note, of all the G7 countries, the U.K. is the only country where the U.S. actually has a trade surplus with. So it doesn't really impact the question, the underlying motive for his tariff policy. He met with several leaders. While there, we know he met with the Japanese prime minister, where they talked about automobiles, lumber, certain aspects of trade between those two countries, but they were not able to get to a formal deal yet. We know the president also talked with the head of the EU. Again, no formal deal met, but he said yesterday that even if they aren't able to make a full deal, what will happen is that the U.S. will just start sending letters to all these countries and saying, okay, you had your 90 days, you didn't make a deal, here's what you will be paying. So he seems like he's really taking a hardline tactic when it comes to these tariff and trade negotiations still.
Olivia, it's no secret that Trump is not cozy with the G7 world leaders. Can you describe what the mood was there? And then for him to abruptly leave, was there an understanding that it wasn't about anything to do with the awkwardness of the meeting, given his stance?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, this G7 looks a lot different than the previous ones during his first administration. Obviously, those were tense. His relationship with Angela Merkel was notably frosty during that time. But this time around, it was a little bit different. Everyone was quite friendly. His meeting with Mark Carney, who's the Prime Minister of Canada, that went well. His meeting with Keir Starmer, who's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, also went well. Both men very complimentary of him. The only person the president seemed to take issue with was French President Emmanuel Macron. Macron said yesterday after Trump left that it was because he's trying to get a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. The president was very quick to shoot that down and said, Emmanuel, nice guy, but he has no idea what he's talking about. That's the president's words about the French leader. So comparatively, it was a much chummier G7 than in times prior. But still the question of why the president left early. We do know that these summits are not his favorite. They often have long bilateral meetings. You have to do a lot of prep for them. And the president has left other G7 events early in his first administration. So there wasn't anything too surprising about his departure other than the fact that it was abrupt and given the backdrop of what is happening in the Middle East.
CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi on Wisconsin's Morning News. Thank you, Olivia. Chat next week.
Thank you. See you then.
A little bit more on that conversation that she was referring to with Emmanuel Macron.
I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire. That was Emmanuel, nice guy, but he doesn't get it right too often. But we're looking for better than a ceasefire.
Looking for better than a ceasefire. 9:17. Speaking of overseas, there's also another uprising taking place. We'll explain.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia problems, cognitive decline. It's their specialty. They're great at it. And they also offer early memory loss classes. They can help your loved one with locations throughout our state, many here in Southeast Wisconsin. I've been in their facilities. They're top notch. It's kindness at the core. It's compassion and empathy at Azura. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Here's to time out on the water in Wisconsin. To living your best life while enjoying the lake life.
Ready?
And getting up on a wakeboard the very first try. Or not. Here's to wearing only swimsuits and wishing this perfect day would never end. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home. It's the first thing people see, and it's the best return for your money on investment. At Lifetime Door, if you have an emergency, they'll come out 7 days a week to service existing garage doors and openers. 5% off any service or install at Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Get started now, 262-783-4004, lifetimedoor.net.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Wisconsin's Morning News, Erik Bilstad along with Amy Taylor. Amy's in for Vince today. Amy, it's been a pleasure so far.
Why, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Are you just being honest?
Of course I am.
Just kidding.
Come on now. Amy, I know you like to travel.
I do. I didn't used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it now because I felt like I was leaving a family. You know, now I'm like, hey,
now the kids are older, you can go places.
Exactly.
Well, happening now overseas. So that's fireworks.
That does not sound good.
Those are fireworks there. And now those, if you can hear closely, are squirt guns. What are these folks doing in Barcelona? They're shooting fireworks off and squirting squirt guns at tourists. Why would they do such a thing? This lady explains via Reuters.
We need responsible tourism, not mass tourism, but tourism that respects health, respects labor, respects dignity, and respects all of us who work in the tourism sector.
Y respete a todas las trabajadoras que trabajamos en este sector, ¿no?
Because what mass tourism brings us is poverty. We don't benefit from this kind of tourism.
Yeah, so these protesters are upset with this mass tourism. They don't like it when the place just gets bombarded with tourists, and not because like it's crowded. It's not really, that's not
it's
really
more like
the issue.
Overrun is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, and that because the people who are natives or residents the locals are unable to get access to home ownership and housing, even apartments. They can't get apartments because there's so many Airbnbs in Barcelona.
Right.
It's become so wildly popular as a destination, and it just gets overrun. This happened last year, too, if you recall, but I think it's becoming more intense this year with more marches, and because people feel like they're shut out of the housing market because they're Airbnbs.
The squirt guns are purely meant just to be rude to the tourists as they demonstrate. I am curious about that, though, because it's really not the tourists' fault that they're coming there.
Well, right. I mean, it's like you think you're doing a good thing, but I was watching one of the videos, and it was just like people standing outside of a coffee shop, and this 23-year-old woman takes a squirt gun and kind of puts it across her chest and slyly shoots the person standing 5 feet away from her and kind of like smiled and walked away. It's like it's a very like passive aggressive aggression, if you will.
It's a tough situation because you can understand their point, because the first thing I have to admit, the first thing you think when you see this, you're like, what are you complaining about? This is how you make money.
This is how you make a living. But I think they don't.
Barcelona, it's a little bit different.
Well, people like teachers, for example,
right, of course,
they're not able to afford the housing. But it is it's also spread to like Genoa City, which that's Italy. It's happening in Italy as
Venice,
well.
Yep,
in Venice.
Happening there.
And I had that on my list, Genoa, because my husband had some business there, and I was like, "Ooh, this could be so cool." Now I'm kind of freaked out.
Right.
I don't want to get shot by a squirt gun. That would really I don't know. It's definitely like you're not welcome here, right?
I'm curious to see how they are able to fix this situation, because if it is affordable housing, but as an owner of an Airbnb, of course you want to make more money. That's
exactly.
That's sure. Why wouldn't you offer that up to someone who can rent it and pay you a heck of a lot more?
And
cash?
One of the reasons, I mean, like my daughters went there and they were able to afford, but by bringing, several girlfriends and going in together, a really fun place. And it's hugely popular with college students too.
So you have that situation. Meanwhile, in Paris,
thousands of confused tourists left waiting for hours yesterday after staff at the Louvre refused to open the doors. The exhausted employees rebelling against mass tourism and crippling crowds. The beloved museum, home to masterpieces such as the Mona Lisa and Venus de Milo, now sees nearly 9 million visitors each year, about 25,000 per day on average.
Yeah, so they have so many people coming that the people who work there say they can't handle the crush of tourists, and there's even some concern that the museum can't handle it.
Like structurally.
Structurally, they had to shut it down.
Well, I did notice we took a family trip to Paris, and there were lines for the bathroom that were insane, and like 2 stalls. It's like when you have that many people, 25,000 people a day, I think it's the world's most visited museum, right? And you can't go to the bathroom, and the line to get in is enormous, famously enormous, and you have to wait. I mean, some people stand out there for 3 hours waiting to get into the Louvre, but you can go in the side entrances. That's the secret, that there are side entrances.
Not by the giant pyramid.
Don't go by the pyramid, because that's a long line.
Well, so speaking of entrances, an internal memo warning the museum is wearing out with water leaks and temperature fluctuations is putting some of the priceless art at risk, apparently. Plus, the French president has called for plans to renovate and build a separate entrance just for the Mona Lisa.
She's going to get her own entrance.
It would appear that most people go just to see her, and if they can have a side entrance for that.
It is really a massive structure, and just the structure itself is so gorgeous because, it dates back, I don't know how long does it, I should know that, but maybe you can find that out for me while I'm just blah, blah, blah.
The Louvre?
The Louvre.
It's old.
Yeah, it's real old. But it's just so gorgeous, and there's so much to see there besides the Mona Lisa, but no doubt that it was like elbow to elbow. I mean, just enough room to get oxygen to get to see the Mona Lisa.
So is it just a room for that piece of artwork?
No, there's a bunch of other art that is hanging in that room that no one even sees. So you have to, as the curator, you're thinking, okay, what are we putting in there with the Mona Lisa? Things we don't want anybody to see. I don't know. I mean, we did take time to see a few things, but But really, it's like everybody goes up in this rush of people to see the Mona Lisa.
See, that's a brilliant idea, though, because if you do that, if you actually have a side entrance for just that one piece of art, then for art lovers like you want to see the rest of it, you'd think the crowds might be a little bit less congested then, right?
Yeah. I mean,
because most people are just there to see her, right?
I don't think that's fair. Really,
most tourists don't have any idea about art. They're just there to see the one painting.
I think you're awesome, but I don't think that's right. I think people are there at the Louvre to see many, many, many things. But she is a huge draw, no doubt. Like people want to see that too. Do you know what I mean?
No, sure. No, I get it. The exhausted employees rebelling against the mass tourism and crippling crowds. So we have mass tourism in multiple countries.
Yeah,
we got locals fighting back. We have employees fighting back.
It is kind of, you have to think if you're going to Europe in the summer that you have to kind of gird your loins for waiting in line, and battling people, so to speak.
So it's the time. It's the time.
I think it is the time.
Okay. All right.
But I just want to say, had a lovely experience.
I'm sure.
It was amazing.
I'm sure it was quite lovely.
Yeah.
9:27.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
So he said to me, "Boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders." And I said, "You betcha." And he said, "Do you mind if I cherry pick?" And I said, "Feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want." Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Leading a nonprofit takes just the right mix of skills, experience, and passion. It is not easy to find those people. But Spano Pratt can help. They specialize in executive recruiting within the nonprofit world. From candidate discovery to assessment and selection, all the way to onboarding and executive coaching, the team at Spano Pratt is full of experts who identify talent that align with your purpose and mission. Go to SpanoPratt.com to start your search.
We may be months away from winter, but it's never too early for the team down south to start hibernating. The Brewers head to Chicago to take on the Cubs.
Fly ball to center, and it is gone! Jackson Churrio's got a dozen homers, and the Brewers have broken it wide open.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. We are the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Consumer spending dropped last month after a sharp increase in April. Says a report just out from the Commerce Department. The decline was partly driven by fewer car purchases. In early trading on Wall Street, the major indexes have been lower. Back in Washington, after an early exit from the G7 summit in Canada, President Trump saying he's aiming for a permanent end to the fighting. Warnings from the president and Israel have led to a mass exodus from Iran's capital. The Trump Organization has announced the release of a mobile phone and phone plan run by the president's two adult sons. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Because of the president's direct influence over telecommunications policies, the announcement prompting ethics concerns. Just the latest in a string of other ventures, including a flurry of recent Trump Organization real estate deals in the Middle East and an expanding Trump family cryptocurrency empire.
Number of deaths from weekend flooding in West Virginia, 7, says the governor. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:31.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a deadly shooting overnight in downtown Milwaukee. The victim, a 29-year-old, shot near Vliet and King around midnight. No one is said to be in custody, but police do say they know who they're looking for.
A dairy farmer from northeast Wisconsin sues the Trump administration for discrimination. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed the suit on behalf of Adam Faust of Chilton. The allegation is that the federal government is illegally denying financial assistance to white farmers in favor of continuing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. 6 Wisconsin Republicans are calling on the USDA to investigate ending those policies.
Milwaukee leaders want buildings built before 1974 retrofit with sprinklers. This following a deadly apartment fire on Mother's Day in the city. The city's Judiciary and Legislation Committee passed a resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Malele Coggs.
Authorizes our lobbyists and changes our package to include them to be authorized to lobby both at the state and at the federal level for some kind of grant program to be developed to help owners to retrofit their sprinkler systems to bring them up to modern day code.
Buildings built before 1974 are grandfathered in and do not need to be up to the same code and standard that newer buildings have when it comes to sprinklers. The Department of Neighborhood Services says state law prevents the city from mandate building requirements that are stricter than those at the state level.
A hybrid cocktail lounge in downtown Milwaukee recognized as one of the best new bars in the nation. Agency was a finalist in the Best New Bar category from the James Beard Awards. Agency opened in January of 2024 and is located in the Double Dutch Hotel. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports the bar has seen a boost in business since being named a finalist by the James Beard Foundation.
News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything remains in the red this morning on Wall Street. The Dow is down 36 to 42,478. The NASDAQ down 60 to 19,640. And the S&P is down 13 to 60,19. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. Looking good for the most part. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 through the zoo, that's on time, and from the zoo to downtown is looking good at the moment. That should take you the standard 17 minutes. We do have an issue on 43, so this is right around Marquette Interchange, 43 southbound. Before you get into the Marquette, we have a crash on the ramp from 145 to Fond du Lac Avenue, 243 south, so you might see that. That might slow things down a bit, plus the road work in that stretch. Also seeing road work on 4145, slowing things down as well.
Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tuesday, today, partly cloudy, warm. You'll notice it's humid. Evening storms today, a high of 87 degrees. Tonight, scattered storms continue early. Humid, a low of 65. Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Evening, heavy rain and storms, a high of 73. And Thursday, partly cloudy, a slight chance of storms, a high of 80. Friday, partly cloudy, again a slight chance of storms, 79 by the lake, warmer inland at 83. And Saturday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, a high of 89 degrees. The heat index at 95.
79 degrees right now at 9:35.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Will interest rates go up or down? We'll know much more June 18th when the Fed announces its next rate decision. Do you wonder how the announcement will impact your decisions, maybe your portfolio? Join Annex Wealth Management's chief economist, Dr. Brian Jacobson, for Instant Insight. 2 p.m. June 18th, Instant Insight is when Annex kind of goes live after important announcements like the Fed announcement to help explain what it means for you and for your money. It's free. Register now at WTMJ.com or events at AnnexWealth.com, June 18th, 2 p.m.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
This week on What's on Tap, we're learning a new way to sip. THC beverages have arrived at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, offering a unique alternative to traditional cocktails. Served in perfectly dosed cans and packed with flavor, these drinks are designed for those who prefer a non-alcoholic option without sacrificing the experience. With something for every palate, from citrusy to sweet, THC beverages are quickly becoming a top request. It's a modern take on mindful sipping, now available at St. Kate. Hear the full interview on WTMJ.com and learn more at stkatearts.com.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Getting a little tired of the warnings. At one point, do we stop warning and we actually act on something? A new warning.
After it blows up.
Right. From a renowned scientist who helped create artificial intelligence. He's concerned again.
In a new interview with podcast host Stephen Bartlett, Jeffrey Hinton, the so-called godfather of AI, a Nobel Prize-winning computer scientist, says superintelligent machines could one day decide humans are no longer needed.
It's smarter than us, right? There's no way we're going to prevent it getting rid of us if it wants to.
Hinton also warning of the many threats artificial intelligence poses right now, including mass cyber attacks, bioengineered viruses, lethal autonomous weapons, and mass unemployment.
That's ABC's Lionel Moise. Now, there's some legitimacy to that, to the constant cyber attacks. I mean, it's already done using algorithms and just running numbers and going and going and going. I mean, if you have AI now able to do it and be able to sound like somebody and be able to trick someone into offering a password or clicking a link.
Have you not looked at things online and gone, oh, wait, and then you're kind of like, oh, sucker, you believe that?
Right, yeah. So that's going to be even easier.
Right.
So that part I'm not surprised at. The lack of employment opportunities, that part doesn't surprise me.
How about taking over, our nuclear weapons? See, the thing is...
Why don't you just slide that in there, okay?
Why don't you just put that on the bottom of the list? Why don't you start with that? I think that the thing is it gets smarter, right? So it starts to understand the way we think. And so it starts then to be able to outthink us. So it knows that self-preservation and doing things in its own interest are the most important thing that human beings can do. Maybe it doesn't understand ethics. It's starting to understand ethics, right? It will, but it's not going to say no.
But why would it decide it needs to destroy humans?
Well, I don't know. I know that there was a story in the Wall Street Journal about trying to get it to shut down, that they told it to shut down and it refused to shut down.
Right.
So it's already acting on its own, which is pretty frightening.
I spoke with this engineer from UW. In fact, I'm going to bring that audio at some point this week probably, who... He said as far as robotics are concerned, that's different than AI, but as far as robotics are concerned, the biggest issue is power and endurance, where they have ability, they have agility, they can create...
Like, are we talking to make things or do surgeries or like
what?
But
they don't have the endurance to be able to move, like a machine or a robot, whether it's like a tractor or a car or a humanoid.
Okay.
Doesn't have the power to be able to just always move. It needs to recharge. It needs to find a battery. It needs to carry a battery. Those are some of the tricks there. Right. Now, that's not AI. That's different. But with AI, In this case, I mean, if you're talking about something that where you don't physically need to be around in order to have an effect, that's where the cyber attack or the unemployment because you don't need a person to do the job that AI can do. That's where that really is going to come into play.
Well, I mean, right when we were traveling earlier this year, the whole airport shut down at Heathrow in London, and they were thinking, oh, is this a terrorist attack? And it's terrifying to think that all of that stuff could just blank because somebody told it to.
Why can't AI also fix that in a matter of seconds?
I don't know.
You know
this
what
is
I
the
mean?
thing. I think this is a big problem is that the understanding that we have as mere mortals is not, the same as Professor Hinton and the creator of it. I'm going to say it's a new frontier for me. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just trying to understand the scope of it. And everyone always makes a joke
Yeah.
about Terminator 2 and all this different, stuff like that. But at the same time, like, okay, but we keep talking about how this could cause problems, yet here we are still.
Well, I remember doing the
feeding
first
the
story on
fire.
what is the internet at the University of Iowa and interviewing the professors who were trying to describe what the internet was. And I remember thinking, what is this? It's like a giant encyclopedia,
So what was the first thing you searched? Do you remember?
No. Do you?
No.
No. But it has that similar feeling. But this seems more damning.
942.
UW-Madison is one of the country's leading hubs for supporting life-changing research and building a skilled workforce. An investment in UW-Madison helps make a healthier Wisconsin, build strong businesses, and win the war for workforce talent, not just at Madison, but across our entire state. Visit uwalumni.com/UW5 to tell your legislators to support UW-Madison in the Wisconsin state budget. That's uwalumni.com/UW5. Paid for by the Wisconsin Alumni Association.
WTMJ's Erik Bilstad here for Tri-County Contracting. If a new roof is needed this year at your house, here's what you do. Super easy. You go to TriCountyContractingWI.com. You click on the instant quote button. The roof quote button's right there on the website, and there you be. You type in your address, put in your phone number, and hey, here's your quote. And now you have a great idea of what you're going to be paying. Then you call them up, you get them over to the house, and you lock it in. TriCountyContractingWI.com. Not only will they get you a new roof, but they also get you enrolled in the free every year inspection program. You get a free roof inspection and maintenance every year for a decade after you get your roof. Tri-County Contracting. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. TriCountyContractingWI.com.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack Essential Everyday Purified Water, 2 for $6. 7 to 16-ounce selected varieties Barilla Pasta or Ready Pasta, 2 for $3. 6-count selected varieties Klondike Bars, 2 for $8. 12-ounce selected varieties Hell of a Good Dips, 2 for $3.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
This could actually be one of the songs for the montage. Has a little bit of sadness to it, but also gives you the chills a little.
Wait, why am I not getting the song?
Patience.
Need a minute.
There it is.
Thank you.
Anyway. So millennials
It's the right time.
have a new obsession.
Yeah.
So millennials apparently are getting into creating their own funeral montages.
This is just so weird.
It sounds a bit dark, yeah.
Yeah, it's really dark.
A growing number of 30-somethings want to be prepared for the worst, and also they want to be remembered at their best looking. So more of them are picking the shots themselves, along with the music, for what's typically turning out to be a 25-minute long in memoriam video. So say you have a bunch of pictures that you really like with friends you really like, and hey, you know what? I look pretty good in that shot.
Right.
That's the one you're putting in to your in memoriam video.
So we think it has to do with, being slick and having a curated image on the internet and having like the best looking Instagram funeral.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least that's what I would assume.
I also think it's like a little bit like apocalyptic. I feel like there's maybe this generation feels like there's
maybe
a lot of bad news.
Apparently, they've been writing their own obits also.
Oh, so
but
depressing.
But none of these things, that's not really new. People have been writing
30?
Okay, maybe not at 30, but people have been writing their obits and planning funerals for forever, right?
Well, when does that start? I remember when my parents said they were getting a plot, and I was horrified.
That threw you?
It threw me horribly. Like, maybe just don't discuss that with your children. Have it be a secret.
Part of me thinks this is just an easy way to excuse your narcissism.
I think you're right.
You just get an opportunity. Oh, whoa, I can spend 20 minutes on this really cool video of a
myself.
bunch of shots of me.
Here's me. But that's
at all these cool places too. Here's me in London.
That's the
Here's
world
me in New York.
we live in, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of protesters out there that don't want to be on social media, but not that many.
Right. So the idea is you bring this together, you grab the music you want, you put together these videos, and then when the time comes, it's not necessarily something that you would post
You don't
automatically.
Think do you think this is depressing? Like, do you think it's weird?
It's a little bit different. I just think it's fueling this urge to just celebrate yourself, and I think it's
again
my personal opinion.
Well, you're not releasing it
the
until
funeral part is just for that just gives you the excuse to do it.
To do a video of yourself. I mean,
because you want to make it look good. You've seen that. There's been pictures that people are remembered by after they pass, and it's like, whoa, that's the picture they chose. Like that's the one that's
terrible.
That's the one that gets put up because that was the easiest one to find.
Well, especially because this generation, they're like, or all this. I mean, this moment in time is they're obsessed with what is okay to put on the internet. My kids are always saying, "Mom, that looks terrible picture."
Don't put that up.
Don't put that up.
Well, and by the way, millennials are older than you think.
Right, it's all marching.
They're in their 40s, so they're some millennials are middle aged.
They might be thinking about that. I don't know. Is this getting released though? That's the thing. Why are you making yourself look good? Is it just an exercise in?
And do you put like a
self-aggrandizement? Because you're not putting it out there that I'm dead.
Year on there, like
right, release posthumously.
1989 to 2020 ? Right,
it's weird. I mean, I think it's weird when people have gravestones that with
pictures on them.
Just that. Yes, I think that's weird. My parents did that. I thought it was a little strange.
Ooh, is it like a picture from like a birthday party with a cake on it?
It's their photo and it's like etched on the gravestone. It's a little different.
So you had to find one of the two of them.
Rest in peace, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry I said that out loud, but
It's a picture of the two of them together.
It's like a photo of her and a photo of him. It's like their publicity shots on the gravestone where they look good.
Are they both the same age in the pictures?
Well, no. I mean, my mom was 78 when she passed. My dad was 94. It was a picture from him when he was younger. Yes. In answer to your question, it was like contemporary photos. Do you know what I mean?
So that's a good question, too. So if you were going to choose the photo that you're going to put on
your headstone, I'm not putting a photo there.
What age, though, do you pick? Do you pick a 40? Do you pick a 20?
Well, I think you have to be realistic.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, I mean, usually your family's picking it for you, but like you want a realistic representation of yourself.
But what's a realistic representation?
I don't know.
The age you reached or your peak age?
I feel like I cannot answer this question. What? There's no answer. What? You could be 14 and no one would know it was you if you died at 50.
Well, sure, or 90 or whatever. But at the same time, if you want like peak specimen,
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't.
You want to be the age that you see yourself as in your head.
Well, right. Forever young.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's the song you're going to play in your montage.
This is getting really emotional and weird.
All right. 9:50 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Local hospital officials in Ahmedabad, India, confirm one person on board the Air India plane that crashed has survived.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
Another Wisconsin community bans wake-enhanced boating. Supervisors in the town of Manitowoc Waters, a popular summer destination for vacationers, just passed their wake boating ban.
Only on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Erik Bilstad here for QC Kinetics. We hear so much about, in America, the health that you're feeling. How are you doing? Your health? Are you good? Well, sometimes you feel fine, but your joints are just barking and you just can't do the things that you want to do, whether it's go out and exercise or even take a long drive or even get a good night's sleep because your joints are just constantly flaring up, if you will. Well, there is something you can do about it. You can call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is not a quick fix. It's revolutionary treatment that works to give your body long-term relief, and they do it without knives. So there's no surgery, there's no downtime. You don't have to take a bunch of drugs. Here's what you do. You call QC Kinetics right now, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call it up, get yourself a free consultation, and set your time to feel good again and enjoy your life and just not have those knees barking at you. Call QC Kinetics today.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Looking for new floors but tired of the pushy sales pitch? Vince Vitrano here recommending Hunt's Flooring in Greenfield, local family-run business where the team treats you like a neighbor, not a number. It was actually one of my neighbors who recommended Hunt's to me. No pressure, no gimmicks, just honest advice, beautiful flooring, and help every step of the way. From hardwood to pet-friendly carpet, find the perfect fit for your home and budget. Visit the showroom or start your project now at huntsflooring.com. Hunts Flooring. Flooring you'll feel good about.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
9:54, Point Taken is up next. News about your money, Amy. A couple of money stories to get here quickly. First one, this one breaking this morning. Consumers pulling back sharply on their spending in May. So retail sales numbers dropping nearly 1%. What would be causing this? Well, apparently it's a concern of the economy.
This is one of the few instances in hard data that we are seeing feelings of uneasiness translate into a change of action.
So that's CBS business analyst there, Jill Schlesinger, basically saying that what they're looking at or what this indicates is the worry of what could be happening or what would happen is preventing someone from wanting to spend right now.
Yes,
it's only one report, but...
You put instability, uncertainty maybe is causing people to pull back. U.S. consumers also could see some problems at the pump. Gas prices looking to go up, even as Iran looks to possibly de-escalate with Israel. Israel launched those preemptive strikes. Oil prices then have jumped 8% last week, and they are still up a little bit. That could
Okay.
quickly translate into higher prices for motorists.
And this is usually around the time when we see that also, right? Like, don't you usually see gas prices kind of tick up in the summer when everyone's driving around?
Yeah, it is traditional, but I think
They
there
got
is
the new
some
summer
worry
blend and all that stuff.
that it could cause some backups with the supply,
All right.
oil supply.
If you missed any of the program, the whole thing is on the podcast page. Thanks to Greg Pancake Hill.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
Why
excuse
is his middle name Pancake?
We'll share that someday.
Is that not for publication?
No, it's for publication. We talk about it all the time.
Does it have to do with his posterior?
He used to work. What? Yes. I'm going to go with that.
Let's leave it at that.
Our thanks to Pat Murphy for joining us on the program, CBS White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi, Mark Tauscher, Lori Nickel, and Amy Taylor. Thank you so much. If you missed any of the program, just text the word Vince to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and text line 855-616-1620. My buddy Jake, I saw him at my kid's graduation last week, and it was 6 o'clock. We're waiting for the graduation to start. He's walking up the stairs. He's like, hey, and he shows me the app. He's like, I'm catching up the 9 o'clock hour right now. Was listening to the 9 o'clock
That's a
hour.
true
How about
friend.
that? How about that?
I like that, and a good listener.
9:57. Enjoy the day.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you.